everybody, it's Tuesday. You're listening to the Giant Bombcast. I'm your host, Jeff Grubb. Joining me is a cavalcade of just real nonsense. Dan Reichert is here. Dan Reichert, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm feeling all right. I'm at like 90+% right now. I'd say. I'm running again. I'm good.
That's the first time in a while, right? Above 90?
I think so. I'm above 90. I'm moving around. Just some weird goop in the face, but not much. I'm feeling better. Traveling, doing the things. It's great.
Sean McDowell, how is your goop in your face?
It's all together and contained, and Jesus Christ, I could never be on a sitcom because Dan just knows how to break me so well.
So Dan Reichert got a teleprompter, and he's using it to stare directly into Turbo Sean's soul. I mean, he's looking at all of us, but I think it's mostly getting Sean. I'm just looking away.
I'm feeling it, yeah. Whoa, with
God.
the zoom. Oh, this is too much power.
Sean, who do you think is going to be more annoying with their new technology today? Dan Reichert or Mike Minotti's also here? How are you doing?
Hi. Hey, no, I'm good. I dreamt about you last night, Jeff.
What?
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What'd we do?
We were at EA seeing a preview of Dragon Age: The Veilguard, and you were being very rude, and it made me very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
What was I just leaking EA stuff to their face or something?
No, like the person giving us the demo was like, "How's everyone doing?" Everyone's like, "Great," and it got to you, Jeff. You're like, "Oh, I'm doing all right." She's like, "Haha, why all right?" And you're like, "Well, I'm not really enjoying the demo." And then later, I look over at you, and for some reason, you had somehow changed your demo station to be playing Mod Nation Racers instead because you were bored.
That checks out.
As you do. We've all been there.
I'm trying to think. I'm gonna work with a PR person to do this to you in real life at some point, 3 years from now, and you'll have forgotten about this.
Jeff, you can't do that.
I went to a Mod Nation Racers.
Mike.
I went to a Mod Nation Racers PR event, and while I was playing it, I wished I could mod it to play something other than Mod Nation Racers.
What deep recess of my brain is Mod Nation Racers living in right now that I can dream about?
I do think I am probably the last person in your life to say the words Mod Nation Racers to you, a couple months ago. So that's probably what happened there.
You're right. I think you somehow brought it up. There's one neural connection in my brain right now, and literally the electricity zapped them together for this one dream sequence. It's incredible.
We got to do something with this. It's just sitting there.
This is too good to pass up.
Minotti, speaking of press events, it made my heart feel good to see you and Ben Hansen hanging out.
Yes, I was enjoying that.
How'd that go?
Great house at Disneyland again. I was there for a Star Wars Outlaws preview event.
In your defense, not that you need defending. You did try not to go. You tried to get some other people on your staff to go instead, and they're like, "No, we're good."
Well, we don't want to. It's all right. I guess I'll go to Disneyland. Sure. I'm a little tired of making that LA trip, I will say, the third time this summer. But no, it was a good event. I'm not allowed to talk about that game yet. I'm not allowed to say when I could talk about it, but when I can, you'll all be the first to hear about it. But yeah, we had a full day at Disneyland. I was there even longer than when I was there with you two. I think a good 16 and a half, 17 hours.
Okay, hang on. You weren't joking about that?
No, of course not. We got there at 8 a.m. when they opened. And then, so the park closes at midnight, but you can linger for a while before you actually have to leave. So I probably walked out of there about 12:30, 12:45. Yeah, and I felt great.
This man dead ass was like, no, Sean, what's wrong with you? Of course I was there for 16 hours.
You got to maximize your hours when you're in there. Yeah, I was the last one standing for sure. We had a pretty good group. But yeah, hung out with Ben for the whole time. That was really nice. Really, I've met Ben a few times now, Dan, but really got to bond with him. It was good stuff.
Yeah,
and I think
fascinating guy, huh?
Yeah. I know he's he filmed me a lot, giving kind of a tour and dropping my Disney nuggets of wisdom, and I know there's going to be a video over on MinMax about that too.
I like that Dan has stopped describing him as a serial killer and just says interesting guy now.
So I don't think he's a serial killer.
No,
for the record.
You stopped.
Yeah.
I said you've stopped doing that.
Yeah.
Because you don't believe it.
Fascinating human
You just
being,
think he's interesting, which is just leaves the door open for so many more possibilities. I think so. That's nice.
Yes. I know Disney freaks are more freaks than wrestling freaks now because Minotti will stay for 16 hours and only leave when he's kicked out of the park. Whereas look, I am obsessed with wrestling. I know Jan loves wrestling. You know, we go to WrestleMania. Anytime I've gone to the last 10 or 11 WrestleManias in a row, and every time me and whoever I'm there with, by the end of even just a couple of days, are like, it's a lot of fucking wrestling. This is a lot of wrestling. This is a bit too much wrestling, maybe. Whereas like Disney freaks are just like, just give me more, you know?
I might argue that there is perhaps a greater variety of things you could do in a Disney theme park than at a wrestling show, though.
Do they have Uncle Howdy VHS tapes exploring death and grief?
I could find you an Uncle Howdy VHS tape at Disney.
Is the Haunted Mansion the Uncle Howdy of Disney?
Yeah, something like that. We'll go with that.
How excited are you boys for Twisters? There was a tornado.
Excited.
Yeah, me too, actually. I'm like, I was going to come in here and be like, oh, well, isn't it funny? We're excited about Twisters. And now I'm like actually just like really excited for it.
I want to have the same thing I had with Top Gun Maverick, where I was not excited at all, didn't care. And then like the buzz was so good that I saw it and absolutely loved it. So that happens really good with Twisters. For this one. That'll be great.
I'm good to hear that. I'm glad to hear that because, like, I have wondered in recent years whether, like, in my head, Twister is like a movie event of the 90s. But then I also realized I grew up in Kansas and saw it in Kansas. So everyone that I know, like, we all related to it, you know? Like, it was like, we've all been in the basement a million times hearing the sirens. Right. I've seen tornadoes, you know? It's like, so it's like, wait a minute. Do we hold this as, like, a very important cinema event? And then the rest of the country is like, oh, yeah, it was that cheesy tornado movie, you know?
I thought the same thing about Major League because it was about the Cleveland Indians at the time. So I was like, no one else cares about this.
No, people love Major League.
I think Major League's pretty popular. I think Twister actually was very like huge. It wasn't as big as maybe it was in Kansas, but it was a big movie. This one feels like it is going to do the Top Gun Maverick thing though.
Yeah, it was one of those movies like Jurassic Park where like the subject matter suddenly became very popular. Like there were a million TV documentaries about tornadoes and everything everywhere. Just like there was all that dinosaur stuff after Jurassic Park.
Suddenly we all know what an F5 is.
Yes.
The
finger of God, of course.
Yes.
You guys ever think about how it's weird that other countries in the world don't really have a tornado alley? Like they don't really have a place in their country where it's like, well, that's just where tornadoes happen. And
what do they have, like Hurricane Junction or?
Yeah, mostly in earthquake zone. Yeah.
What other countries even do worry about tornadoes?
A lot of other countries have tornadoes, but they're all like very, very brief and small and tiny. I looked into this. I'm like, is God just punishing us? I think that's probably the most likely scenario. But also, it's like the mountains on one side, the Gulf of Mexico down there,
and just flat land.
Right, Antarctica up there, and all these things kind of push against the mountains, and it causes this twisting wind that happens right over the plains. And then there's not a lot of stuff in the plains to stop that wind. So
speaking of the plains, I got a real, I grew up in Kansas, so plenty of them. But like this weekend, the last weekend, I did the drive from Kansas City to near Oklahoma City, there and back for my sister's wedding. And oh boy, Oklahoma! I had not really spent a lot of time there. There is not a lot going on there, and I say that as someone from Kansas.
Yeah, you say that it's like the drive through Kansas. There is nothing going on. So yeah.
I mean, it's not like Oklahoma. Let's make fun of them.
Well, no, here's the thing. It seems like it's just boring. Like, boring is fine. Like, I'll take Oklahoma over, like, literal hell on earth, which is Missouri. You know, so, like, Oklahoma is not terrible. Missouri's a terrible state, of course. But Oklahoma is just very, very boring. It seems. And Kansas, also very, very boring. I'm not acting like Kansas is amazing, but at least we have Lawrence, a good college town. And barbecue. Yeah.
Jeff, can I ask you a question, maybe?
I would love
Sean
that.
and Dick can help out, too. So, the Ohio jokes have been ramping up lately, and that's fine. I always, kind of laugh.
It's an election year, right? And Ohio's going to get brought up a lot. It's on the top of people's minds. Yeah.
I laugh along with it. I go, ha, ha, ha. But I guess I never actually knew, like, are they serious? Do people think Ohio's a problem?
Not a problem.
What is the gist? Why are we the subjects of major? Because I've lived there my whole life. I just don't really know what it would even be like to live somewhere else. I don't.
I'll say this as someone who has a limited knowledge of Ohio, about to get some more in a couple weeks here. I, growing up, had no thoughts on Ohio. I remember the most interesting thing I thought about Ohio was there were like their three biggest cities all started with a C.
True.
And my first time on the ground in Ohio was driving through it when I was moving back to Minnesota. And I do remember us being in the car for, it's a good chunk. It's a fairly wide state.
Yeah.
And just doing a lot of looking around, just being like, all right. Yeah, I guess there's just not. It's I would say unnoteworthy. It just seemed like it wasn't Hell on Earth, Missouri style. It wasn't flat, boring, plains boring like Oklahoma or Kansas. It was just like, here's a bunch of highways, and this seems to be some kind of city that we're driving through.
What are the other states like? Do you not just drive through highways and rural areas and cities? Is there like? Suddenly driving the largest ball of twine is like there or something.
Like, I don't love California, but like, I've done that drive from like San Francisco to LA, and like it's kind of interesting to look at. There's like, vistas in the ocean, and there's like big fogs and stuff. There's things going on. Yeah,
well,
like some
more
visual.
like,
yeah, go ahead.
What does Ohio have going for it? As someone who has lived there his entire life, Mike, you tell us. What does Ohio have going for it?
I think we have we have all 4 seasons, and that's like, it's very affordable. I appreciate that about it. Mm-hmm. We do have major metropolitan areas that have all the stuff that cities have, and a nice mix of. I don't know. I guess it's just to me. It's so default in a nice way.
Yeah.
It's so
in this house we have a bedroom, we have a bathroom.
Right, exactly.
But none of that is what the jokes are about. The jokes aren't it's unnoteworthy. The jokes are it is a problem, and I think what it is Ohio is a fun word to say.
I think it's ramped up from Ohio's a boring nothing state to just like what we just pick Ohio. Who's gonna care about us picking out Ohio?
It's 2 things. It's like Ohio does have 3 major cities, so there's a chance that you probably know someone from Ohio no matter where you live, because we have a lot of exports. A lot of people that leave Ohio go elsewhere, so you probably know someone from Ohio, and then. But then you're like, okay, wait. So what about Ohio? And then the word is funny to say. I think people just like it's a good punchline.
Yeah, the concept. I think the joke would work better with like Indiana, because who the fuck thinks about Indiana?
Right. I think we were getting shit from Indiana. I think I got shit from Indiana recently, and I was like, you're just Ohio too. Like, what are you talking about? What do you?
Ohio
what do you
adjacent,
possibly have to stand on Indiana?
The only thing I know about Indiana is that Letterman's from there. Other than that, I don't know a single fucking thing. Where it's like Ohio, it's like, oh, you got the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, you got the East of Cleveland, Columbus. I know those cities. Like Indiana, jack shit.
Right.
Their city is called Indianapolis. It's just Indiana City.
Well, Kansas is Kansas City, and it's not even in Kansas.
That's bad too. That's pretty rough. True. New York City. Yeah, come on, give me a break.
The polis, like so, Minneapolis, Indianapolis. Is that just Indiana metropolis?
No, because there's Minneapolis and Kansas also.
Okay, so what
Polis,
are they? What's the portmanteau there?
Right? It's got to be like the same. It's got to be etymology of population. Polis.
Right. Yes. Okay. Polis. Right. Yeah. Okay. So it's just the city, right? Latin for city.
City.
It's Latin, Greek, something like that.
All right. Yeah. So then it's very uninspired.
Man, it was weird though. Mike bringing it up during Games Done Quick or the past weekend, 2 weekends ago. They were doing the one of the Mario ROM hack ones, and so like Grand Pooh Bear was there because it was Grand Pooh World 3 or whatever.
Right.
And Pooh he's an older streamer. I think he's his late 30s or something like that, and older for a streamer. Anyways, he makes I can't do the that is too much.
And because he's looking right at you.
I know he's looking right at me. And Pooh just makes an Ohio joke out of nowhere, and all the kids just pop in the crowd. I'm like, what is this man learning on his stream? This is wild. Why are the Ohio jokes popular now?
I don't know.
Oh, wow. It's all right. You all keep making your jokes. Just don't move here and increase the rate of my mortgage or something. It's fine. Just keep staying away.
It would be good if they moved here now that we are homeowners, Mike, because that would make our houses worth more. So, but whatever.
Yeah,
I don't want them to move here. That's they did that in Denver, and they made it suck there. So
I don't actually know how that works. I bought a house one time. They're like, give us this much money each month. I'm like, okay. Whatever you say, sir.
That's how it works.
You got real quick before we get into the video games. Are you guys going to peruse Prime Day sales?
Yeah, it's Prime Day. Let's go. There we go.
Very good. Excellent. He's drinking a Prime there for
I've already spent
listeners.
several $100s on Prime Day, yes.
Okay, very good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do I need anything?
I want a big
they
hard
got good
drive.
4K DVDs. I didn't know there was a Planet Earth 3 that's on sale. I had to get Planet Earth 3.
I'm listening to an audiobook by David Attenborough right now. It turns out that's a very good move, right? That voice, that's a good one.
He's good at reading stuff, yeah.
He is Jurassic Park guy's brother, right?
Yes.
Yeah, he is.
Barry
Right,
Attenborough. I don't think it was Barry.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool dude.
He's also Santa Claus in the remake of Miracle on 34th Street. Speaking of movies with young children in them, I've had songs from Annie stuck in my head the last few days. Like, it's a hard knock life for us. It's a hard knock life
fucking old,
for
Mike.
us.
Yeah.
Look, I wasn't actually born when Annie was out, okay? That's 77. That was
Spending a bunch of time in Oklahoma over the weekend, I heard a lot of my dad trying to sing what he thought the musical Oklahoma sounded like.
Yeah.
Oh,
which I'm
incredible.
sure was completely accurate. Yeah.
But it's
Dark Aileron just popped me in
Oklahoma.
chat, says, old, no, he's just weird.
Yeah.
Be both.
You know, it's funny because you're laughing about calling Ben a serial killer. My friends like to do that to me. Mike, if I didn't know any better, I think you were a serial killer.
Oh God, Mike's our Ben Hansen.
No,
Oh, no.
I also don't think you're a serial killer. I don't think I know
the
many serial
way
killers.
he says it as if it was a serious possibility for both you and Ben is the funniest part of all this now. He's like, no, I've really been
Thinks
thinking about
for a
it.
minute. Yeah.
And I don't think so.
No, I wouldn't kill anybody. That'd be mean.
All
I think
right.
Hansen's less weird now than he was maybe like 10 years ago.
Sure. But
I'll
yeah.
say that. I think we all grow up and become, did we become less weird?
I think I
don't really know.
plateaued a while ago.
Yeah.
I think you could definitely. I think a lot of people become more weird as they get older. So maybe there's like a dip, and then we'll like shoot back up here pretty soon. So
I'm so happy that Dan has Ben, because now you know what it's like to look in a mirror. Maybe a funhouse mirror, but it's
me
like
and
looking
Ben
in a
are-
mirror.
No, we're very different
they're-
shades of
they're
weird, I
in
think.
different ways.
yeah.
It's the same thing
way.
contorted in a weird angle.
Right.
It's like the funhouse mirror.
the ingredients
a
are
funhouse
different,
mirror.
but it's cooked to the same temperature. Maybe
There's
yeah.
enough common threads in how we think and what we like for us to be really good friends.
Yes.
But definitely, both of us have thoughts and things we say. They're like, "What the fuck are you talking about?"
Dan, I listened to that podcast you guys did a few months back, just the two of you.
Yeah.
And it was just you two going back and forth saying, "You're the craziest person on earth." And it was hilarious. It was like having two Dans. I loved it so
It's
much.
been my relationship with him for like 14 years. Yeah.
All right. I'm not gonna do a segue. I'm just gonna hit the video game button. That's how I'm gonna host this show. Everybody,
I like it.
Brace
It's good
yourself
hosting.
for it. There we
Yeah,
go.
don't try to be Jan. Don't
No
you
way.
dare
I'm not gonna. I
stand where
can't
he
be Jan.
stood.
No way. Yeah.
There we go.
All right. Where are we gonna go first? Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Mike, you were playing Dark Souls last night. Let's talk about that, because guess what? It got me to start playing Dark Souls too.
Incredible.
Yep.
Wait, did you beat Elden Ring yet, though?
Yeah, beat Elden Ring. Yes.
Oh, that's right. You did. You did beat that final boss.
Yeah, I was
Okay,
I was
cool.
literally at the final. Like I mentioned that you were like texting me because you were just streaming, and someone, hey, text Jeff, and then you're like, hey, they wanted me to tell you that I beat it, and I'm like, oh man, he's so far ahead, and then I like went and I did the fight where you fight multiple people, and then the next fight is the final boss fight, and I'm like, oh, I didn't realize I was here. I went to go do a bunch more stuff, and then I was on my vacation, so it was kind of like I don't really have a couple of hours here dedicated to like figure out this boss. So when I got back and I had done some skibidi tree fragment hunting, I came back and it was like 50, 60 tries, I think.
Oh God.
Oh, mine was 43. I'm better than you. I'm better than you.
A big part of that was I was just like going in there doing some like data. But also my character build was not great for that fight because they're like, use a shield. I'm not going to learn how to use a shield now.
It's too late.
It's too late for
I
that.
never
So
used the
Yeah.
shield in that game once.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm still stuck at the boss. I'm probably like 20, 30 tries in. But quick question. Have any of you beat Sekiro?
yes.
No.
Okay, I was at Kayla's a couple nights ago, and she's been stuck on the last boss of Sekiro, and she showed it to me
Tough
and how it
boss.
has like 4 phases, and like just watching her try again and again, and you can't just like cheese it and level up the way you can in other From. Incredible at those games,
she's
and I'm
good. She's
watching
great at
her
games. I've
struggle.
seen her, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm watching how bad she's struggling at it, and I'm like, there's no, like, there's a part of my brain that for a long time I thought, like, maybe I should go back to Sekiro, and I watched that, and I was like, there's no fucking way I would ever be able to beat this game.
Did you enjoy the final boss though, Jeff?
I did actually. I'm glad it was as hard as it was.
Yeah.
And it was. It really felt like I was just barely getting by, and I had to build my character in a certain way that did play with my style, but where I could take a couple of hits because it was just so hard to avoid damage in that second phase. So I was taking hits, and then I found the time to either heal up or whatever. What really helped is I was using the blasphemous blade, and something about that. Listen, I only pay so much attention to a game I'm playing. Come on, was causing me to regain health every time I would do damage.
No,
so I'm like,
that's how it works. Yeah.
right. So
Wait. Sorry. When you do damage or you take damage?
when I do damage.
Oh, so when you do that L
Yes.
thing, and yeah, that's
Exactly.
killer.
So
That's
right.
great.
So then that's baked into that weapon. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to strategically kind of think about my health and not always just go run to the Estus flask. I am going to be like, okay, no, I took damage. Let's just find some safety. And if I can do an attack, I'm going to get back most of that life, and kind of peppering that in, and then also using Melania's big ability that you can get that causes Scarlet Rot. That Scarlet Rot will just destroy him. So
really?
Yeah, it doesn't look like it's doing shit, but if you hit him and the Mimic is also doing the Scarlet Rot, everything was doing way more damage. And then I got to the second phase where he is, there's a point where he can grab you. Yeah, he can grab you. He can grab you, and they like whisper something. And during that, he had been so scarlet rotted that I was watching his health go down while he was like whispering in my ear.
Nice.
And I got out of there. My Mimic died. I hit him a couple times with the sword, and I was about to die. My life was nothing, but the scarlet rot actually got the final hit on him. So
Shit, I don't think I've gotten to the whisper. Is it like a "I'm sorry, I love you" type thing?
Kind of. It's
Scarlet Anoia is the thing I was using. Yes, Regulus.
It's the most fun mechanic to dodge, right? Because it is kind of like it's like a big telegraphed one. When you dodge it, it feels great.
Oh, I haven't even seen that yet. Shit, that makes me think I'm like.
It doesn't do any damage though. Like when they grab you like that one.
Well, I don't want to give the mechanic away, but you don't want to be hugged by that.
It's emotional damage, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and maybe real damage too. Yeah, I'm glad. It turns out really it is just, hey, get your reps in. You're going to learn those patterns and stuff like that. It's like every other boss ultimately at the end of the day.
Right.
Yeah, and I enjoyed it a lot. But, so after like beating that, I haven't actually played through a whole lot of the FromSoft Souls games.
Well, which
really.
ones have you played?
I beat Bloodborne back when that came out.
And you hate it?
Like, no, I don't hate it. I like Bloodborne, but I am like, I feel like everyone else who plays through Bloodborne is like, that is one of my favorite video games ever. And I was like, yeah, I liked that. And I don't know. I didn't think about it a whole lot. I don't know if it was just me at the time. Maybe if I played it now, I'd have more appreciation. Yeah.
Huh.
I'm the exact same as you. I played it, I beat it, and I think it's one of the only From games I've beaten. I think it's like that, Elden Ring, and Armored Core, the only ones I've beaten.
Oh,
I
we're
played
like
it.
exactly the same then, yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah, and I beat it, and I was like, damn, that's clearly a very well-made game, and then I didn't really, like, think about it much afterwards, but then you'll hear people, like, plenty of people talk about how it's, like, one of the best ever, and it's like, holy shit, I had no idea it was that revered.
Maybe like, I don't know, maybe that whole like kind of gothic Victorian vibe just isn't super my thing.
Yeah, that was what it was
It
for me.
seems like your vibe as a person.
I'm good for
the
wearing a plague
guy
mask.
who reacted the way he did when he played Cyberpunk. It's too Cyberpunk. Yeah, exactly.
What did he say the graffiti on the Cyberpunk was? Like, fuck till you bleed or something?
Fuck until you die or something.
Oh, God, that stream was hilarious. Mike just saying they're very uncomfortable. He's like, it's all about sex, drugs, and rock and roll. It's so bad. And the rest of us are like, yes, Mike, that's why it rules.
Like my 84-year-old grandma.
It's a bit, yeah.
Not to derail you too much here, but I am curious for both Mike and Dan. What are your favorite FromSoft games then?
Elden.
Elden Ring.
Elden and Armored Core.
Armored Core.
Prior to Elden Ring, what would have been Armored Core?
Well, that's the thing.
Dan?
Like, I never played a ton more of them. Like,
I haven't played enough to say.
Like, I played a bit of Sekiro, and I was enjoying it, and then, like, fell off. I want to get back to that. But the reason why I'm playing Dark Souls is I have not really ever played any of them very much.
I played 1 and 2 and the Demon Souls remake, and I really have like a big appreciation for those games. I just think that, like, I don't know if I'm just not good enough at them, or like I always get like 25 hours into them and then I just kind of stop playing. I did that with Dark Souls 1, Dark Souls 2, and Demon Souls remake.
For me, it's like a patience thing where it's like, oh, I got to like really learn the patience here and kind of bring that throughout the whole game. And I can bring that for, like you said, a good 20, 25 hour period. But one thing goes wrong, it's so hard to rebuild that like patience in there. But I'm with you, Mike, where it's like I haven't played a lot of the Dark Souls ones specifically. I started with, like, when you were playing it last night, I put it on the Steam Deck. Real quick, on the Steam Deck, I can't tell if there's like something wrong. It just like is dark in a weird way, and I'm trying to, or the gamma just feels off. But other than that, which I'm going to maybe restart the Steam Deck and see if that does something there. I'm enjoying it. It's like, hey, I'm glad to have so many FromSoft games that are in this vein to go back to, because I've never really played Dark Souls 1, 2, or 3.
Before I forget, Grub, you mentioned your Steam Deck. I know we were both having similar issues recently with like the SD card and stuff like that. Mine is good now. I was able to I played a bunch of Wind Waker again. My save is good and everything. Is yours back? Did it update correctly?
I've not had the same issue in the last couple of days, so an update must have fixed it.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, good to hear.
Yeah. But yeah, so, just kind of my first time playing through it finally. And I will say playing it on stream helps because it is kind of fun having people there. Like, if I want a little like advice or something,
yes,
I can ask for it. For some reason, man, people are. I noticed this in like other streams I watch. People get really excited when you say the words, "I'm going to play Dark Souls for the first time."
Yeah, you had a lot of people watching last night. Yeah,
because they love that
people
stuff,
are excited for it. It is like such an Xbox 360 game in like a lot of good ways and bad ways. Like I like the way it looks, but it's also like, oh yeah, lots of browns and kind of like puke green.
What version are you playing?
The remastered.
Okay, Prepare to Die edition.
No. The remaster.
Remaster. Okay, so you're right. That's right. They're completely separate.
Yeah, the newest one.
Right.
I mean, which is like it runs at like 60 frames per second, and it's like in 4K, which is nice. But it's still like the color palette is still very Xbox 360, and I mean that's appropriate, right, for Dark Souls. It is called Dark Souls. That's not like something necessarily bothering me. In fact, it's kind of endearing in a way. But yeah, like. A lot of my Elden Ring stuff does just transfer over to this pretty much. It's all very familiar and comfortable to me. I do miss having a jump button, but you can still do a jump attack and things like that.
That is B, or that's like dodge and R1 to do that, to do the kick, or and the jump is dodge and R2.
It's or is it A? It might be the sprint. Oh no, it's just push forward. On the movement, on the joystick.
Okay, that's right.
The kick is fun because it there's a lot of enemies with shield. I fought a lot of skeletons with shield so far.
Yes.
So you do that kick and they lose their shield and then you hit them. So that feels satisfying.
I find those games, like From games in general, are the only ones where I want to actually put those back paddles on my Elite controller. And so it's like B, I'll put on like the back one there. So it's like I can run or dodge out of the way while still moving the camera and moving my character around and stuff like. There's or like cycling through all the like D-pad things for like your items and your equipment and stuff like that. It's actually really helpful.
Totally.
Right. But yeah, now it's just all feeling good. It's working. It's it is kind of nice doing a less. Not linear because the map interconnects in all those fun ways. And playing Bloodborne, I am kind of familiar with that style and that setup, but it all is working here. There are some like bullshitty things that, again, because I'm streaming, are kind of fun. Like, I turn a corner and a boulder falls down the stairs. There's no way I could have possibly reacted to that, but everybody has a good laugh, right? So why not? And, just the way I play, like, I will sometimes come across this, like, optional mini-boss guy that kills me 6 times, but I just can't let it go. So I kind of throw my, like, self against the wall there. But then when I kill him, he drops this really great big sword. And now I'm like, oh, great. Now I can equip this at some point. That feels good. So, turns out Dark Souls is good for the reasons everybody does think it's good. I've already run into some of those characters, like the Praise the Sun guy. I'm like, I know him. He's an amiibo. So I'm excited to see what's going to be up with that. The bosses have been fun so far. But yeah, just enjoying it. I'm excited to kind of go through this one. It's going to be a fun time. And then, maybe check out some other ones. Like, part of me is like, do I play Dark Souls 2? Because so many people are weird about that.
I really want to play Dark Souls 2 because of the weirdness and like it's
the
because
first one I played.
A lot of people, it has like a lot of like really strong defenders and stuff like that. And I kind of want to.
What if I played it last? What if I'll play Dark Souls 3?
That'll guarantee that you'll end up hating it. I think if you play it last.
Oh shit!
Yeah,
but I mean, whatever. That's fine.
I feel like 3 is the one you hear the least about.
Yeah, but it's also the one that, like, if you were to ask From fans, like, hey, I want to go back to Dark Souls, which one should I play? They'll tell you to go play Dark Souls 3.
Right. Really? They talk about 2 a lot because they want to, deride it, but they like 3.
Was there some that like the main team didn't work on? Like their A team.
That's
2 is the one the main team didn't work on. Okay.
But, Miyazaki didn't direct 2 is how I remember it. But
and people say the controls feel weird, and it's the one that like it's the redheaded stepchild situation.
Right, but Austin Walker's a big fan of it. H Bomber guy did a whole video why DS2 is like better than the rest.
It's not like a Devil May Cry 2 thing where everyone's like it's dog shit that. With no caveats, right? There are people who do defend 2, so I'm kind of.
I feel like I've never heard the DMC2 is good actually defense. I've never heard anyone, like a single person, say that.
It's a
Not one.
broken game.
I'm a DMC defender, like the
yeah.
Ninja Theory
'Cause you're
one.
right.
That's
they
a good
exist.
game that gets a lot of
Dino
shit.
May Cry, that one. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Two is hot garbage. Like everyone agrees on that.
No one.
Well,
defends that.
well, I mean, in that comparison, DMC Devil May Cry is a good playing game. Like everything that people don't like about it came down to aesthetics, whereas DMC
that
2 is just busted as shit.
It's
I didn't realize it was so heavily
unfunctional.
on the aesthetics. Like I actually really liked a lot
It's
of
that
the
and the fact that it is a story reboot, so like people are like this isn't how Dante should be,
Right.
Like
Yes. It was-
stuff like that.
Yeah, whatever. It's
Yeah, that
they
series
really,
has
like,
a lot of
unique-
those kinds of fans, though. So
The crazy like Fox News like level with the
Yes.
boss and everything.
Incredible.
Like, it was
Oh
some
yeah,
crazy
it's very
shit.
fun.
Yep.
It's very fun.
Yeah.
I am curious, Mike. Do you think you specifically are willing to go back to the old FromSoft games just because you like Elden Ring so much? It's not even I want to see what else this developer has done. It's sort of changed your mindset on the games.
Yeah, I think that's a big part of it. Like, I don't know why I was so disinterested when these games were first popping off, because I do consider myself somebody who plays a very large variety of games and who will try to play like whatever the biggest games are of that year. So it's very weird that I did just completely miss.
Were you
Demon's
in like the Bitmob? I don't know what we used back then, but like maybe it was email threads where like the editors were all crazy for Demon Souls, and I was just like, "What are you guys talking about? What is this game? Do you remember that?"
Well, I played Demon Souls when it came out,
Oh,
and
okay.
like
What the hell?
I got a little bit into it, and maybe like because I didn't stick around with it long enough, I just bought into the hype about how hard it was. It's like, I guess they're just very hard, and I'm not good enough for it, I suppose. So, I don't know, playing Elden Ring, I'm like, I understand how this all works now. And again, I did beat Bloodborne back in the day, so, like, I can beat these games. But part of it, too, is just, even still, people talk about Dark Souls 1 specifically all the time, right?
Yep.
When they're talking about their favorite game, the best games ever. So it's like, okay, I should probably go and experience that then.
Yeah. I mean, maybe just enough time has passed that things have changed. Like, I think people know by now I'm a huge Persona fan. I played 4 when Golden came out, and it just was not clicking at all. And then, several years down the road, I played 5, and that one just magically clicked, and I went back, and I was like, oh, okay, this one is flawed in this way, and this one's flawed in this way, but they're both really good games. I do like that I'm getting that experience now.
It takes time. I had that with Dragon Quest, where I tried to get into Dragon Quest multiple times, and then it was when I finally played 11 that I really loved it, and then was able to go back and play a bunch of other entries in the series. Yep, sometimes it just suddenly clicks.
Yep.
Sean, you've been playing Kunitsu-Gami. I want to hear about it.
I have specifically played the demo. I want to be clear on that, because I know reviews are out, but yeah, I finally fired up the demo for the first time. It wasn't quite what I was expecting, because I feel like every time someone plays that, they say it's a hack and slashy mixed with tower defense, which I think is an interesting comparison. I definitely see where a tower defense comes from, because if anyone still doesn't know what the premise is, if you've only seen trailers, I wouldn't blame you for not knowing what the premise is.
It's like a Brutal Legend type situation where it's like you got the on the ground hack and slash, but also there's this like meta like
A little bit,
RTS type thing.
because you're like a guy walking around instead of like being a mouse cursor doing the quote unquote RTS or tower defense thing.
So what the setup is at the start of a level, you can think of the level as your typical it's a little bit smaller than an average like character action game arena. I would actually, speaking of the Devil May Cry series, the original Devil May Cry, sort of how those levels are laid out, where you have like a central area and then sort of some branching paths off of it, kind of Resident Evil style. It feels like that, and I think that's where some of the comparison to classic Capcom comes from. It does feel like sort of that level design, in addition to the production value and the art style and everything. At the beginning of the level, you have your goddess. I forget her name because I only played for a couple hours, but she starts there, and then you play as this like samurai style character who needs to go forward and basically clear the path for her. The path of the goddess.
The literal path of the
goddess.
So what she does is she just like slowly walks through the stage and purifies everything around her. Like there's this corruption that's corrupting everything, like demonic power, whatever it is. And so what you do is you gather up just this currency, orbs, crystals, wherever they are, as you go around the stage helping people out. Like they'll be trapped in this little trap, and then you get them out. They give you some currency, and this can all be fed back into giving the people you save weapons, pushing her forward along the path so you can get to the goal quicker, and then a couple other things. What happens is it's a day-night cycle. So during the day, you're preparing, hence where people are getting the tower defense elements from. And then at night, the demons attack out of this gate at the end of the level. And so that's where you run in and you start hacking and slashing, your Devil May Cry, your Okami style stuff. And where the strategy comes in is those villagers you save during the day, you position them around the map to take out those enemies as well, to help you, because eventually it's a horde style, like classic zombie horde style thing, where they are just coming in droves and you need to get rid of them so they don't attack the goddess, because you need to get her to the end of the level. And in practice, it feels more to me a little more like what I think of as an RTS game, as someone who doesn't play RTSs. Like, that's sort of the vibe I was getting while playing it. It felt like people within Capcom are strategy fans and they want more people playing like the strategy stuff that they like. So they put strategy in a game that makes sense to those of us who don't like that kind of thing. I think it's a really interesting combination. I'm a little worried about what the longevity of the formula is of, in the daytime, you get ready, and then at nighttime you fight the monsters. Because in the demo, at least, which is a couple hours long, it's a decent demo, that's all I was doing. And it's basically the same enemy types are coming at you. You only get so many soldiers. But I did hear that there is more variety as the game goes on, and the difficulty does ramp up. So you need to get your strategy more in line, because there will be more branching paths where they can flank the goddess and stuff like that. So I'm really interested in why I saw it to begin with. I'm curious. I'm curious how much longevity the formula has.
How is it doing with reviews? Because I haven't been paying too much attention.
Like at an 80
average.
Yeah, I've seen some 9s flowing around, so I assume it's somewhere in like the low to mid 80s.
Okay, yeah. That's not too bad.
That's pretty good for, and I'm glad Capcom is still making like, the Capcom makes a lot of very, very big games right now. I'm glad that they are still doing something like this. It's a new IP. By the way, Jeff, you have to update the game title.
Yeah, that's me.
Nope.
Oh, never mind. It's Sean. I'm sorry. I just assume everything's Jeff's fault.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because, right? I mean, he was so rude to those poor EA employees.
It's just like when my wife gets mad at me for stuff I do in her dreams.
Yes, absolutely. It made me very uncomfortable. It's like, Jeff, we're never going to get invited again. What are you doing, buddy? But yeah, it's a Game Pass game, so I think a lot of people don't really quite understand what this means, and if they're going to like it. If you still have Game Pass, it should be an easy thing to try out on there.
It's also like a $40 game, right? Like it's I think the price was reduced. I don't think it's a full $70 release or anything.
That's 50.
50. Okay, well, yeah, that's still the budget
fine,
price now. Yeah,
$20 more than Hi-Fi Rush.
Yeah. Yes.
Jesus Christ. I know that was a lot of like word soup that I sort of just threw at everyone there. So, hey, that's why the demo is there. You can go try it out for yourself and see what it is. But yeah, it is sort of that weird Capcom that I do kind of miss a little bit. So I'm glad that we have Capcom. That. Yeah, that complementing, your Resident Evils and your Monster Hunters. Like, man, Capcom's just so back. And I love it as a huge Capcom fan. They're just killing it across the board.
And maybe more than ever, right? I mean, like they've always been a presence and they always had a million franchises.
But the degree of difficulty that they're operating at is way higher than they've ever operated at before. Like having several massive giant budget games be great back to back is different than having several NES games great back to back.
And like the level of success they're seeing with like their big franchises right now between Resident Evil and Monster Hunter and everything, it's like they're fucking killing it.
Yep.
Yeah. They'll be really back once they announce that new Mega Man, but they're doing very good.
Oh, funny.
A lot of fun.
That is kind of the last puzzle piece there, isn't it? Like,
did 11 sell at
11 is technically the best-selling Mega Man game ever, which means it sold like about 2 or 3 million copies. Oh. And I maybe once had a conversation with somebody at Capcom to let me to believe they weren't super thrilled with how it did. But I mean, look, with Mega Man, how expensive do they have to be to make? And at least this, right? It's like, Mega Man, none of the games sell more than 1 or 2 million copies, but a lot of them sell 1 or 2 million copies is the thing, right? So there's consistency there. Like the Mega Man Battle Network collection sold a couple million copies. So
that's crazy.
They're gonna make a Mega Man game here eventually. It'll happen.
Or is Mega Man's fate kind of similar to what happened with Mickey Mouse, Mike, where it's like, well, he's a great mascot, but we don't need to keep making movies with him.
Mega Man's actually been in games. Mickey Mouse has never been on TV or in a movie.
Of course.
So,
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
So
Thank you,
but with that analogy, like what happened not too long ago, right? Like 5, 6, 7 years ago, they made those new Mickey Mouse shorts. Like, we're going to actually start doing stuff with Mickey Mouse
Those
again.
are fantastic.
they actually made a ride with Mickey Mouse again, right? So, these things ebb and flow. We'll get some Mega Man stuff here.
Okay. I'm hoping for you.
And although, man, Sean Johnson, who makes like PlayStation 1 videos, released his big 6-hour-long video on every Capcom game on PlayStation 1, which is really fun, and people should watch it. But, that was another era where Capcom was just going nuts. Like, they had Resident Evil, but tons of Mega Man games. And boy, do I want to play Misadventures of Tron-Bon and Mega Man Legends 2 very badly right now.
You talk about weird Capcom. I'm ready to play more Dead Rising.
Oh, yeah.
I'm excited for that.
Yeah,
when
is that
series I just never played.
Is that soon? Oh, you never played it? Oh, they're so funny and weird.
I played 3 because it was a launch game for the Xbox
It's
One.
fine.
And actually, I liked it. I had a good time with it.
I like it too, but 1 and 2 were way weirder and funnier.
Okay.
Like I think this will be the ideal one to get into.
I was very anti-zombie at the time, so that was part of it.
I was too, but this was like good zombie stuff. This wasn't like Walking Dead serious zombie shit or whatever. Like this is funny zombie. When is this come out?
September.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Yeah, I just don't like zombie games, the formula at all. And even I think there's charm in Dead Rising, if nothing else, because it's such a Capcom game and knows it. Like Frank West puts on a Servbot head and lights up a Z-Saber. Like, it's so good, Mike. Like, it's just
I'm going to have fun with it. I'm going to enjoy it.
Chad is informing me that Tron-Bon was Ben Hansen's childhood crush per their Thirst Council show on MinMax. So Tron-Bon.
I can see that.
Not even Roll Casket. No, Tron-Bon.
Oh,
that
sure.
checks out for Ben.
Tron-Bon.
All right. Let's see. Sean, you've also been playing stuff on your iOS device, which is your new purchase recently. Tell me about that.
Well, mostly I put this on here as an excuse to talk Apple products with my fellow Apple hater, Jeff Grubb.
I do not hate. I just enjoy my Android. That's all.
Let's be real. Come on now. Since
Listen,
the dawn
it's just
of
all
history.
the features everyone always talks about came to Android 8 years ago. Yeah,
exactly.
sure.
There it is.
There's that
You're
talking
welcome.
point that they love to say,
Yeah,
isn't it?
because
They
it's
always
true.
do.
And the US is like, well, that doesn't matter, but it kind of does.
Yeah. Let it out. No. Because you and me are in the same boat where we've been using, Windows PCs and Android phones for the longest time.
I did get the MacBook Air a little bit ago.
That's why. That's why I wanted to bring it up, because we're at a point now where these ecosystems are open enough, and then the hardware is interesting enough that it's actually like, I look at an Apple product, I'm like, this just does it better than the equivalent. So yeah, I guess I will just buy it, because now, my iPhone here, I'm just putting Google apps on it, and I'm not even using any of the built-in apps. Like, I use the clock and I use the calculator, and everything else is Google apps, and I'm just using like an Android phone. So
Sean, get Delta and get WarioWare Twisted on your phone, and it is the best possible way to play WarioWare Twisted.
Dan, I did that on my tablet in study hall when I was in high school. That's how long ago Android has been doing
in
this.
2017? Oh my God.
No,
actually, is that even exaggerating? I was trying to go comically
I was like, wait a second, let me do the math there. It's not that much further, but
try like 2010, but
okay,
all right, sure.
No, well, speaking of emulation, I did figure out how to install Alt Store, so now I can just like sideload apps as well. Turns out Dolphin can't be on the App Store. Dolphin can be in other places on iOS.
You have Dolphin on your phone?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, they what was the reason they will put it in the App Store? I can't remember.
It doesn't have JIT.
Just in time compilation. Right, okay.
Yeah.
Well,
but anyways, specifically I want to talk about the performance, because it is interesting, like, just how powerful these mobile devices are nowadays.
Yes.
Like, I can run a game I want to talk about here in a sec, but like Zenless Zone Zero, I'm running it on my phone with like, not far off settings from what I'm running on my like mid-range PC. Like, that's kind of wild that we're at that point now. I know it's a simpler game and everything, but it's really cool that I can put it on. I assume you three have never done this on your phones, but when you fire up a like high-level AAA game on your phone, they just give you like PC settings to play with.
Weird.
It's kind of weird to like select, okay, texture quality,
locally, like playing it locally.
Yeah, like Resident Evil 7's on iPhone 15.
Resident
4 is
Resident Evil 8 is on your phone.
You download Village on here?
Resident Evil 7. Here we'll burn a news story. Fewer than 2,000 people have purchased Resident Evil 7 on iOS.
Holy shit.
Oh, wow.
Well, yeah, because it needs the iPhone 15 Pro specifically.
And because no one wants to buy those
Resident
games on
Evil
there, Sean.
Village?
It's not just because it's that iPhone.
No.
RE4 remake?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The full ass game?
Yes.
The full ass game. Yeah.
How much is this? Get in-app purchases?
Right,
Oh, it's not compatible with my device. Okay.
It's like $60 or $70.
See, it's not compatible with his device. Yeah,
Sure.
not a lot of people can get it, and then the people who do don't want to spend $60 on it. That's why it's not selling.
Right.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Wait, no, Dan, would you, if you could buy, if it was compatible with your device, would you spend $60 to play Resident Evil 4 on your phone?
No.
Exactly.
You're insane. What are you talking about?
It's a neat thing, but yeah, no one wants to do that. That's why
Just
games
checking.
like your waifu gacha games are still like the what's big on mobile right
of
now. Because
course,
even
yeah.
with all this power, people still want to play this free to play stuff.
We got Ashley and Ada though.
That's true. Can you install mods,
Anywhere
though?
you go, Mike.
Anywhere you go.
Probably not. Probably not.
What kind of mods, Jeff?
Zenless Zone Zero, Sean. I saw this on the Google App Store, and I had it's only like 3.1 stars. And then I looked at the other MiHoYo ones, and they're all the same. And I bet it's the thing where it's like this doesn't run on every Android device, so people get review it low or whatever. But
oh no, it gets review bomb because gambling.
Oh, sure. That yes. Yes, that definitely seems like it could be it as well. Okay, but how are you finding it? Are you happy with it? I know you've been playing it for a few weeks now.
Yeah, I haven't had a ton of time to play it because I'm not going to talk about it here. I'm not going to bore people. But the actual game I've been playing a lot is Final Fantasy 14, getting caught up before the new expansion that just came out. So yeah, in between, I'll just fire up something else that's been on my radar, like the Kunitsu-Gami demo and stuff. But Zenless Zone Zero is one that I've been looking forward to a long time. Because like I said, our stream of it the other day, it's so my shit. Just the art style of being Jet Set Radio mixed with Splatoon, the gameplay being very, just very character action, very Devil May Cry, or like an action RPG, and then the music, the soundtrack just being really good. It's just a fun, as I described it, popcorn experience. You don't gotta think too hard when you're playing it. There's story stuff for freaks like me who want the story stuff because it is kind of just an action RPG. Like you're just following the story of these characters. People think like when Jan was playing, Jan being Jan, he wanted to get to the gacha. He was playing it like thinking, okay, when's the gacha happening? When am I gonna put money in and try to get my waifu? It's like, no. There's like a whole ass game there. It's just like when Genshin Impact first came out and people just wrote it off as, Breath of the Waifu. Like, oh, this is just some random knockoff that is going to try to get you with the in-app purchases. And then they play it and it's like, oh, there's actually something here. The guy just did put out a decent, AAA-ish quality game for free. And then also over here, if you want to buy into the whole gambling aspect, which... for the record, I don't support. I don't spend money on that stuff, but that's how mobile games work, and that's how they're making their money.
Yeah, kind of unavoidable in that space.
Yeah,
I'm just having fun
with
terrible. That's awful. We shouldn't condone these kind of things. Anyways, if I told you guys about Disney's Lorcana, it's very exciting. A lot of fun. You never know what you're going to get. That's the exciting part.
That's what makes it good, yeah. Gives you that rush that you need.
I'm a huge trading card game guy in general. I don't buy packs. I just buy the singles I need to play competitively. That's all I've ever done.
Sean, which is your favorite of the MiHoYo Moisturizer trilogy?
What the fuck are you talking about?
Between this, Zenless Zone Zero, Genshin Impact, and the train one, Honkai Star Rail.
Yeah. Star Rail was actually really good. I put it down because, last year was freaking crazy. But I like that one a lot. This is definitely the one for me, though. Like the urban setting and just everyone being, the style just gets you so hard. They know, not like that. The style gets you so good because they know what they're doing with those designs. Catching myself there. The designs are just They know how to get people. They know how to pull them in with these designs. Jan's obsessed with his shark maiden waifu, and you stick around for the gameplay is there. And it is legitimately a fun game. You get in the flow of hacking and slashing, switching to your gun guy, switching to your other one, and there's just these super flashy animations that happen the whole time. It's fun.
Is this one on PlayStation the way Genshin Impact was at the start? Or?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, that's right. Genshin Impact did launch on PS5. Star Rail actually did not.
That's how I remember Genshin. Like my first introduction to Genshin was a news story about a guy in China who was destroying a PS5 because they were ripping off Breath of the Wild with Genshin Impact. It was before it ever came out. Yeah,
that's right.
Critical.
Oh my god,
I do remember that. Wow,
hilarious because it barely plays like Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, but this is before it came out. Yeah.
Hey, speaking of anime, what's the deal with? Like, I'm hearing people talk about there's an anime Mario Party.
Yeah.
What
is
Demon Slayer?
What's the deal?
There's been a lot of these. Which one are you talking about?
Yeah, the Demon Slayer one.
I saw a link to a YouTube video today. It said it was out in like April, so it might be out already. And I watched it. It straight up got hot rope jump. It's got it looks like a straight up Mario Party, and I'm curious.
They're making a Demon Slayer Mario Party? What the hell is this?
It looks like it might have already come out. I'm not sure. Maybe that was like an old trailer or something.
Switch already.
Yeah, there's multiple Demon Slayer games are showing up on Steam, and I'm not sure
Mario
which
Party
one
style Demon Slayer game for Nintendo Switch gets overview
like
trailer. This is
Slap
from
the
February.
Wheel or something.
Yeah, it came out
what's it
April
called?
26th.
Okay.
Sweep the board.
Demon
Sweep the
Slayer.
board.
Sweep the board.
Yeah,
Yes.
sweep the board.
Yeah.
Kimetsu no Yaiba. Yeah.
I'm gonna try to get some codes for that if it's out.
today.
Oh,
On
really?
Steam.
Oh, it's on Steam?
It's on Steam today.
So
right now, it's $60.
So we can, if it doesn't have online play, which it might, but if it doesn't, we can do Steam remote play together to play that. So
We should do that. I don't know. I don't know the characters or the anime, but like it straight up looks like Mario Party.
This is online PvP, is what it says on
all
Steam.
right, great.
Oh shit, we have to do that.
This is perfect for us because I'm the only one who knows the story of this game on this website.
That's going to give you a big
good.
advantage.
That
so
guarantees you
weird.
come in last, actually.
It's like if any of these, because Demon Slayer is oftentimes a very serious anime about slaying demons that are trying to rule the world, but it also does have these moments of levity. So if any anime was going to do this, I guess this is the one that makes sense. Sure.
Let's maybe do that like
weird.
next Friday or next week or something. I
Sounds
would
good.
love to get the gang together and do that.
Yeah, put that on the
Sure.
board. I played a bit more Concord. Dan, your keyboard is so loud. You can't do that.
Sorry. Hey, blame Backlar. He's the one. I was writing down play anime Mario Party next week.
Well,
I was working. Yeah.
Yeah, right. There we go. Yeah. I played a bit more Concord yesterday during the day before the thing shut down because they extended it a little bit. I'm like, okay, I guess I should play a little bit more. And I did find a character that more clicked with me than any of the other ones had before. It was the Knife Lady, which does give, because especially if you're not Knifeu. If you're not communicating with your team, which you might not be if you're randomly matchmaking, this is a good one because she is supposed to be a lone wolf. She can crouch and see through walls, and she has knives, so she can and she has pretty good movement, so you can get around behind people. So I was doing a lot of that, and it felt really good. And she has this kind of leap stab attack that you could do that felt pretty good. And yet it's like just pretty good. None of it still really clicked with me where I'm like, oh, this is super fun. I think the game it's fine enough. Had it come out several years ago and also was free to play, I think it would stand a much better chance with me personally. But as it stands right now, it's like, I think this game is solid in a lot of ways. I don't love the way it feels, but I'm also at a point now where I don't hate the way it feels. But it's just not winning me over to the point where I can imagine being like, let's set up a game night to play Concord. I just don't have that inside me for this game.
Yeah, I want to try it. I didn't do the closed beta because I don't want to play it on PlayStation. I'm not going to pre-order it so I can play it on PC. The open beta starts soon, I think on the 19th, so I'll check it out there. Because I had so much fun with Overwatch back in the day, and I really do just feel like I can't go back to that. I don't really want to. I don't think it would feel good to. So if one of these could hit, that would be great. I don't really know if Concord's going to be that, but I'll give it a shot.
Yeah, there is another open beta next weekend, and we'll see. Maybe I'll play a little bit more, but I got a lot of other stuff on my plate, so I'm not sure. And this game, out in a couple of weeks now, right? It's the beginning of August for this one.
Hey, clear your schedule though, because tomorrow is NES World Championships.
Oh yeah, no,
hell yeah.
That is the rest of my week. Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yes.
I cannot
Yes.
wait. I'm losing my mind for it.
I'm traveling this weekend, so I'm going to be in a hotel room and airplanes, just feverishly trying to beat all of your times.
And UPF will be us setting a bunch of times this week, everybody. So definitely tune in for that. It'll be a good time. Yep.
What game do you each think you're going to be immediately the best at?
Anything
They
Mario.
wouldn't have Punch Out. Do you think they'll have Punch Out?
It doesn't have
do we
Punch
know
Out.
what's in it?
Yeah. There's
shit.
Why don't you look up that list of games while we're talking about it? But
I mean, I mostly remember. I mean, it's all the Zeldas, the Marios, Kid Icarus, Kirby's Adventure, Balloon Fight, Excite Bike.
Did we have to put Kid Icarus and Ice Climbers in there?
Yeah, Kid Icarus and Ice Climber. Yeah, I know, right? Ice
is there
Climbers.
Urban Champion?
No. I'm looking at it now. Also, no
It's
Punch
been
Out.
every virtual console.
Yeah, no Punch Out.
It's
for
kind of
sure.
limited, honestly. So I hope there is enough in this.
Well, there's no
package,
third party, right? Like it'd be, and I get it, but boy, when I think of NES, I do think of like Mega Man and Castlevania.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Punch Out. I mean, they don't have to have Tyson. They can
Punch
just
Out's
do,
weird. That's a weird
To
one
be fair,
not put
I
in
think
there.
there's a chance they're treating this kind of how they've been treating their recent sports games, where they'll do an update with like a new round of games in a couple of months.
Okay.
Wouldn't
I can
it
see
be fun
that.
if they also just add like golf and baseball, like
Yeah.
stuff like that?
Stuff
They
like
put
that.
fucking Lost levels in there. That's gonna suck.
Yeah.
Star Tropics. What the hell? Where is it?
But yes, that will be the rest of my week. Honestly, I cannot wait. And in the meantime, I've been playing EA Sports College Football, which is a lot of fun. I think they nailed what I want from the college football experience game, which is it needs to feel really atmospheric, because if people don't watch college football, the thing about it is brimming with excitement from the stands, from the band. It feels majestic in a lot of ways, and the game does a pretty good job of capturing that. And then the product on the field is also a little bit different than the NFL, where everyone is so skilled in the NFL that there's very few mistakes made, and if there are mistakes made, they're very slight, or it just doesn't feel like anything can happen in an NFL game at any moment. In the college football game, it does feel that way, and that comes across as well, to the point where, like in the old game, there is just a lateral button where you can lateral at any time right there on L1. And, there's been a lot of Maddens where I don't think that's necessarily the case. And then the athleticism, where, you are not necessarily as skilled as a team, but your quarterback probably can run really well. And at any moment, you could just, tuck it down and start running and feeling like you can juke anyone. That stuff is very good as well. So I'm enjoying it.
Is that a newish thing in football? Because I feel like when I was a kid, no quarterback could ever run, and then Michael Vick came along, and now every quarterback can run like crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it's newish, for sure, but it's much more popular in college football than in the NFL, for sure. And then in the NFL now, it's catching on, where there's a lot of guys that can be dual threats, and that did start with Michael Vick, absolutely.
Okay.
I assume not, but does the game have like a Persona style mode where you have to go to school during the day, and like your relationships impact how you do in the field? Like, oh, maybe your girlfriend broke up with you, and that now you're gonna be
That's
real
NBA
slow.
ballers.
Literally, Mike, are you referencing the meme that went around? Because literally, that does happen.
No. Oh, really?
So there's.
No, I have no idea. I know very little about this game, Jeff. I promise.
In the creative player, there's a creative player thing. I haven't done this yet, but I've seen this where someone's like, you're doing a creative player, and one of your friends texts you and says, buddies, my girlfriend just broke up with me. Can we have a boys' night? And like, you got to go spend time with them to keep like your team morale high or something like that. So yeah, that stuff's in there.
Natty Lights with the boys. Let's
Natty
go!
Lights with the boys. Hats backwards. Let's go.
Oh boy.
I think that's my biggest issue personally, although I don't know how much of an issue it's going to be for this game's audience, where the two offline modes are Dynasty, which is the mode that I think most people really like from these games and keep them that's what they wanted in this, so they're getting that. But Dynasty, you are recruiting, and you are worried about the transfer portal, which is this time where players from your team, if they're unhappy, can declare, hey, I'm going to transfer, and then another school can come and swoop them away. And this
transfer portal.
Yes, it's and this
sounds menacing.
It is menacing now. It's like kind of a weird thing in college football that's kind of making it feel very different. But I don't. Yeah, the transportal. I don't want to think.
Hosportal.
Yes, the hosportal for transporting. I don't want to think about that stuff too much, because it's like, oh, I got all these players, and now I've got a bunch of like, computer generated players that I'm recruiting, and I just don't get too excited about that. But that's a big part of the Dynasty mode. Then the other one is just the creative player mode, and I'm like, I think I'm looking for something that is a bit more lightweight, where I could just start the season, and my goal is to win the national championship with the current football team that I am a fan of. And the only real way to do that is to I suppose maybe you can go to the creator player mode, and that would have that. Again, I haven't played with that too much, but Dynasty, it's like, no, you're going to have to deal with recruiting and sort of just minimize it and put it in the background and not care if you're not doing good at recruiting because you're only going to play the one season. But yeah, either way, the game is already massively successful. It is in early access right now for people who didn't pre-order, but bought the $100 edition. And Greg Miller posted last night that there were 600,000 people online last night playing the game. And so those are all people who paid $100 for the game. And those are just the ones who were online at that moment. So it is going to be massive.
EA could probably use this right when it seems like that Apex Legends money is drying out, huh?
Definitely. Yeah. And, so they're like, hey, a new Ultimate Team. The game does start with, like, before anything else, you're writing Ultimate Team for college football. And they're like, hey, you want to play this? And they, like, make the button where you're like, no, I don't want to play this. They make that really small and off to the side and all that stuff. But yeah, so I will probably play some online, but I'm sure I'll just get wrecked because I kind of play people saw yesterday, I kind of play pretty sloppy. And that's how I enjoy doing it because, it's college football. That's what it's there for. But going online, I think you have to be a little bit more conservative, and I'm not necessarily looking for that experience.
Boy, I like sports games okay. I don't know if there's anything I'd rather do less than play, like, a sports game with a stranger for some reason.
Yeah.
Like, that's a big time commitment. I don't know.
And it's like, it's definitely for a certain kind of person who's like, no, I like trash talking and I want to be trash talked too. I'm like, oh no, thank you.
There's fighting games for that.
Exactly.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. And Mario Party.
All right. So Mike, you bought a zoo, huh? Oh, he's gonna sneeze. I'm sorry, I didn't know this.
I was allergic to everything in the zoo.
I was muted, and I was like, "Oh no, I got to unmute myself."
I saw you were about to sneeze. I was gonna buy you time, and then you unmuted and sneezed right into the microphone.
It's too late. Yes, I bought a zoo.
Why did you buy that zoo?
Why did I buy that zoo? Frontier announced Planet Coaster 2. I'm excited for that. I like the first Planet Coaster quite a lot. But they remind me, they did also make Planet Zoo, which doesn't get talked about quite as much as Planet Coaster, but it's a lot of fun. It is basically just those tools that they have for Planet Coaster, but it is, we're making a zoo instead. It's some of that stuff transfers over pretty literally, like making the paths for your park and kind of the decorating that you can do. But like the simulation stuff here is very much about, buying animals and making the pens and the habitats for them, and making sure they have the right amount of tree coverage that they need. And it has to be trees from their kind of specific biomes so that they're happy, and making sure you have the right people working in the park and maintaining all of these things, right? So all of that theme park sim stuff. And because of that, maybe it feels a little bit more on that sim side. But you do have the sandbox mode that you can do if you just wanted to like make a zoo and, without any money restrictions or worrying about the kind of financial stuff. But I was having fun playing through the, campaign where you have the scenarios, and at first it's kind of tutorial-y, but I did the first one where it's just like, here's a plot of land in Canada, and there's a little bit here, but basically you're building a zoo from scratch, and try to have several different exhibits, and this, try to make this much money, right? Yeah, and I was having a great time. I do enjoy these games every now and then. It was fun making my zoo. You can do things like put the camera on your animals, just kind of follow them around. I had a hard time with education. My education rating was bad, so I kept trying to put up more
you went to Youngstown State, so yeah.
Yeah. It's hard. It's like, okay, we got to tell people more about the deforestation and whatnot. So you put speakers in your park that tell them about the animals they're looking at. You got to hire people to go around. You could even build whole stands and have a show of some kind, and that seemed intimidating, so I didn't quite dive into that. There's a lot there. There's a ton of depth into the experience, right? And I probably played 6-7 hours just doing the tutorial and then this first real campaign.
So it's the simple way of explaining that it's it is Planet Coaster, but without designing coasters, or is designing a lion entrapment as complicated as designing a roller coaster?
Maybe it's pretty different, right? And again, I think the management stuff of it feels more important here, right? Like looking at the needs of the line, things like that. Did you ever play Frontier Development's Jurassic World games, actually?
Evolution
1 and 2.
Right? I played a little bit of that, yeah.
Yeah, because I think they actually did Evolution 1 first. And that is kind of similar. It's a similar thing. Right. It's making sure we have the stuff to make these animals happy and making sure the guests can see them and all stuff. And there is also make sure the walls are high enough, and make sure that you're maintaining the walls because the animals can get out, and that's a problem. So it's kind of you're spinning a lot of plates, and you're making sure everything's going well while also trying to expand the park while the complexity keeps building and building. Right?
Okay.
It's fun. It's relaxing. It's a good time.
Yeah, the Planet Coaster 2, is that the one that has the water parks?
They're adding water parks is like the big new feature.
That sounds so exciting to me for some reason. Like I would love to design a water slide.
Yeah, it looks great. It looks like kind of like the water park can be in your theme park, like some places have, so it can all be connected.
Can you make a lazy river that kind of goes underneath everything?
I mean, we don't know much. I would almost guarantee. I
like something about that just really sets me off. I'm like, that'd be great.
Planet Coaster 1 is just very good with how much freedom you have with building things, and then also how much of your own assets you can pull into it. So you can like bring in your own music and your own kind of video files for video screens. I mean, people can do wild things in Planet Coaster 1. And, there's a whole uploading and downloading community service thing. So you can just, hey, somebody made Peach's Castle. You could just go download that and put that into your theme park. So you can start kind of building your own little Mario Land in whatever theme park you have. You could do things like, I'm going to, just upload the Mario theme song. So it kind of plays there as ambient noise, or for my fireworks show, because you can synchronize fireworks shows. There's a Planet Coaster is very good. If you're like me and you really enjoyed Roller Coaster Tycoon and Tycoon 2 back in the day, or maybe even 3, Planet Coaster is absolutely the successor to that series.
Are there like Disney mods for Planet Coaster?
I don't think there's official ones, but again,
not official.
The community workshop, unless Disney is like being real strict about that stuff, I assume it's there, but I don't know.
Interesting. All right, Dan, you finally finished Hollow Knight. Did you get the true ending?
Yeah.
No, I'm still working on it. So I think I'm at like 90-ish%, but it's like there is a good amount after you like beat the last boss. There's a lot of stuff you can do, and it's just like it's not the most easily Googleable game, because it's like it doesn't track every little thing. It doesn't show you everything on the map. So it's a lot of like looking at maps online, being like, okay, I don't think I've got that charm. I don't think I've done this. I haven't beat this Coliseum thing. So the discovery aspect of it is really good. And like I think it's pretty cool that I beat the game, and I've probably gone 5-10 hours past that, and I'm still trying to kind of mop everything up. It's an incredible Steam Deck game, of course.
Right,
so with all the time in the car and everything, going to and from Oklahoma and all that, got some good time in this weekend on it. But yeah, just again to say I beat it. Probably going to keep playing a little bit here and there to finish it off. But fantastic game, and I'm glad that I'm sure Silk Song is pretty far along, and I'll get to just hop right into it. Like everyone, right? Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't know.
I remember. I think the big fun things to do. Obviously getting the true ending, which is just like a couple of items you need to sort of find somewhere to unlock that, I believe. And then there's the Dark Troop, which was like DLC, and that's an optional boss that's very difficult but very fun. And then that Coliseum, the last wave of the Coliseum is very difficult.
I beat that because I have the most powerful nail now, so it's fairly easy for me to beat things now. Yeah.
Well, it's a good game. Jeff, have you felt shamed into going back yet now?
Yes. Absolutely. I feel the shame. I haven't done it yet. I was debating should I do that or Dark Souls, and then you start playing Dark Souls, so it's your fault.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yep.
It usually is.
Monkey Ball multiplayer. You played some of this, Dan. How'd you find it?
So, also while I was back in town, I stayed at Kayla's one night, and my sister Katie also came over, and so we played some multiplayer games. And we tried some of the race stuff and the banana collection and stuff like that, and it wasn't really hitting for us that much. I know we did a little bit of Summer Games Fest, and we thought we'll play a bunch of this, but I wanted more like Monkey Target, the boxing stuff, all that, the darts, all the weird stuff. It's mostly like a bunch of race and collection type stuff, and we weren't super hot into that. But we found this mode that we absolutely love that I'm going to recommend to anyone, especially locally. I don't know if you can do it online or not, but just do the story mode multiplayer. It's split screen, and you can turn collision on or off. So at first we started it from the very first level, and it's like, okay, we're just going to fuck with each other. We're going to knock each other off. We're going to race to the end and stuff like that. But very quickly you realize okay, this game gets hard, and you're going to need to kind of not necessarily work together because you're all in separate balls, but you're not going to be able to actively fuck with each other and get anywhere. You're going to die a million times.
Wait,
so it's
but if you could collide with each other, is there just one plane of existence that you're all controlling together?
I mean, me moving through the stage isn't like tilting the stage for others.
Okay.
Everyone seems to have their own, but like your balls will knock
Orientation.
into each other. So you can like, you can do a spin dash and accidentally clip someone and send them flying off. So
Yeah.
like,
Okay.
even when we're all trying to, okay, Kayla, you go. Okay, then I'm gonna go. Oh shit, she fell. Okay, Katie, you're the only one alive. Only one of you has to finish to go to the next level.
that's
so you
fun.
can play the entire story mode multiplayer like that. And like, we thought we would just try it out, and we went through like half the game that way, and it was
That
super
sounds great.
fun.
Okay.
that makes sense.
Yeah, so
By the way,
collision
the,
on story mode multiplayer, I would highly recommend for sure.
The secret monkey ball, if anyone didn't know, is that you're not actually controlling the stage or anything like that. You're controlling the gravity of your individual monkey ball.
Oh,
So
interesting.
that's
I
why
didn't know that.
multiplayer would
Oh,
work. Yeah, it's all a
okay.
camera trick where it tilts the camera while you do it to make it look like that. That's why multiplayer could work. You're affecting your own monkey, and then
Interesting, okay.
the other person's affecting their own monkey.
Boy, Jeff, don't you feel stupid now?
Yeah, I'm a real asshole. Yeah.
I didn't know that either.
Sean
I know
knows
that
a lot of stuff.
speedrunning
Uh-huh.
stuff.
We gotta do something about this guy. Yeah. Okay. Well, that sounds cool. I still want to play Monkey Ball on the site at some point.
Yeah.
It might be
Yes,
hard this
yes.
week with everyone gone and us kind of like just doing things on our own.
NES World Championships,
NES World
and
Championships.
anime Mario parties.
Anime Mario Party.
I played Shoot Mario Party while I was home.
Yes. Okay. How'd that go?
Well, so okay. Normally, the crew when I go home now for Mario Party is me, my sisters, and my brother-in-law. And so, Bonk was there, but Bonk, I think I will say, has a active disdain for the act of playing Mario Party.
Weird.
So
I wonder how she developed that.
she didn't play it that much. She immediately realized that someone who very much knows how to analyze video games saw it like once. It was like, oh, this is complete horseshit. So we decided, okay, so here, we're not going to force Bonk to play, but there's a new member of the family that I needed to incorporate into the Mario Party, family tradition here. So she's 5 weeks old. Yeah, 5 weeks old, my niece Ava. And so we legitimately made her a human character. We did random, and we're like, hey, Ava, this is who you're going to be for the rest of your life, just so you know. Whatever it randomizes, like, I'm always Waluigi, Kayla's always Luigi, Katie's Yoshi. And, okay, we randomized. She got Mario. So that means she can play all the old ones now as
She's
Mario.
the main character already.
She's locked in as Mario, yes. So the rule was we had Bonk was playing probably a better game on her Steam Deck, and we had the Joy-Con next to her. So Bonk was kind of surrogate playing for Ava since the 5-week-old can't press the buttons when needed.
Skill issue. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
The rules were, though, she is a baby. Ava is. So, like, we decided all she can do is hit A. So, no thinking is allowed. Literally, the only thing that could happen is when we said, like, Ava, roll the dice, Bonk would hit the button. So, that also meant when on, like, item shops and things like that, you can't make any decisions.
Right.
If you get to a fork in the road, you can't decide left or right. You literally can only hit A. No mini game participation, no anything. She just stood there the
that
whole
seems
time.
so unfair. Then she probably wouldn't have a chance of doing well in the game because I mean it's a game of skill.
She was in first place for a good chunk of the late game. For at least like 7 or 8 turns, she was in first place.
Yeah.
This was amazing to us. Katie, my sister, has been playing with us for our entire lives. She never won once until like she was like 27. This was like 4 years ago, and she was like she cried. She was like, "Oh my, I can't believe I won. I've never won. Me and Kayla always fucked her over so bad." And she won. Her 5-week-old daughter almost beat her, and the only reason she didn't is because we had to hit only A at item shops. Whenever we went there, she had to buy a skeleton key for 4 coins because it was the first one that popped up. So like, do you want to buy an item? A, yes.
Suboptimal.
What do you want to buy? A skeleton key. So she was about to buy a star on that turn, and she went and she had to buy a skeleton key, which made her like 1 coin
Oh my
short of
God.
the star that would have
come
had her
on.
beat
I
her
know she's
mother.
a baby, but she's not stupid.
She kept buying. She had like 90 skeleton keys. She had to keep throwing skeleton keys on the ground to get more. So if she had not had to buy all those skeleton keys, she would have beat her mother, the 5-week-old infant.
Incredible.
I've been dying to ask you about this since I saw you tweet, Dan. How was she in the lead? What?
Well, there was a chance time that went really bad, and like some of Kayla's stars went to her. So here's the thing. this was eye-opening to me as someone who's been playing Mario Party a long time. I've never seen the horse shit so blatantly happen, where it's like, so she would like not be winning any mini games or anything. Obviously, you know, she's just standing there. She did better than you would expect.
No, I expect her to probably do pretty well by not playing.
Yeah, there would
It's
be
like that
times
movie
where like, yeah, Kayla would like get a star because she would like, you know, seek it out and go to the star place, buy the star, and then like once Ava started falling behind a good amount. Oh, where's the star gonna go? Oh, it's 2 spaces in front of Mario. Weird. And I was like, hey, that's bullshit. They're just doing that because she's losing. But it happened, and she would get enough coins just through horseshit. I don't know how many times the communist Bowser shit happened, and like all of my 120 coins, suddenly I have to give a bunch to the fucking baby, and now the baby has 60 coins and can now buy some fucking stars. So
Revolution, yeah.
That would suck if you're doing a 2v2 though, and you get stuck with the baby who can't play.
that happened several times, and it was hilarious. There were some where you could win. There's like the bobsled race where it's like, all right, if I can just turn real hard here, we're not going to fall into the pit. Or the one where you're doing the like mine cart thing. So there were ones where the baby could do all right. But yeah, literally would have beat her mother if not for the skeleton keys she had to keep buying.
Who did win though? Who won the full thing?
It was probably me.
Okay.
So it wasn't you, but well, okay.
Congratulations, Kayla.
Good job, Kayla.
It was Kayla. It was Kayla.
Yeah.
Sounds about right.
Yeah. That was fun though. So yeah, it's we'll keep doing that every time, and we'll see how it goes as she gets older and can think more.
It's weird that it's the Bowser Revolution is named after the Communist Revolution. Like, I get the joke that like they're giving everyone the same amount of money, but wasn't the Communist Revolution kind of like bloody and deadly and stuff?
Tsar Nicholas II and the Bolsheviks and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
so-
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's
Yeah.
not good stuff.
Well,
A lot of
Bowser
people.
pretty deadly too.
Dan, have you ever actually played like Mario Party with an actual child, like a 5-year-old or like a 7-year-old?
I mean, with my sisters, but when I was also pretty much a kid.
yeah, they do not handle it well.
No.
They cry a lot.
My
They get
kids
very
cry
upset.
That sounds
every
so
time we play
fun.
Mario Party. My
Every
kids
time.
cry.
A stream where I just play against, I guess, Grub, you're the only one with children. Can we do a stream where I just play Mario Party against your children and I'm mean to them?
I have to ask my wife because they're gonna cry. Like,
That's good. And
cry.
also Bacalar's kid. But Bacalar's kid fucking sucks. He would
Bacalar's
be
kid is
annoying.
probably
I'm
one of the-
lovably
God damn it,
I'm
Dave.
lovably annoying. Bacalar's kid shoot sucks.
Oh, okay. Hey, the reviews are in on Dan Reichert. Dan Reichert says lovably annoying.
People love me. Bacalar's kid, no one loves him. Even Bacalar doesn't.
I'm putting a poll in the chat here. Dan or Dib?
All right, there you
Imagine
go.
Dan playing Mario Party with kids like age 5 to 7.
I
that
would
he
rub it
doesn't know
in.
very well.
I would rub it in so I would laugh in their fucking face.
It's like
It'd be
one of those
great.
wired video, like white rooms, just 3 kids, and then suddenly Dan Reichert walks in. Like, wait, what's this?
Yeah. What's
happening
you
here?
dipshits?
Oh, I can't wait to see Dan have to deal with the fact that like a kid could be winning and something goes wrong and they still cry.
Yeah.
No
Like
kid
that.
could beat me at Mario Party.
Speaking of a kid could be winning, Dib, overwhelmingly more popular than Dan. Can't imagine why.
Dan,
I don't see it.
Would it bother you that the kids were crying because they were losing the game that you were playing
If
with
they
them?
were strangers or someone else's kids, no. I mean, if it was like I got a niece, I got nephews now. I wouldn't want to see them cry. They're
Sure.
related to me. I know them. They're family. But like I don't know. Like Grub. Look, I
get it.
Grub, I don't want to make your kids cry. Strangers that I don't know at all. I think it would be very funny if they were shoot upset at how I was playing Mario Party against
Parents
them. Yes.
should bring their random unknown children to you for punishment, basically. Yes.
Right.
Yeah, in
Yes,
Mario Party.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Jamboree, 20 player, me against 19 children that I'm berating the entire time.
That's a good business right there.
I smell a feature.
Yeah. Hey, Backlar, we need to be able to pay for 20 kids. All right.
They're idiots. Give them a packet of gushers
There
or something.
it is,
They'll be
yeah.
fine.
That's how you get around the labor laws.
Glad we're not recording any of this.
All right. Well, hi to the future judges when they listen to this. Bye, everybody. All right. That's video games. We're going to talk about the news here after a quick break to hear from maybe Jan talking about sponsors. I don't know what happens. All right, we are back, and what are you guys getting on Prime Day? Mike, you gonna go through with the purchase of getting a new microphone?
I mean, will I sound better?
I don't think there's any issues with how you sound. No one's ever complained about it.
It does sound fine.
Nobody ever.
People complain about how I sound, but I don't think they mean my mic quality.
Well, yeah.
It wouldn't be a huge step up, but if you're having issues with it,
right?
That's what you're getting. Yeah, you don't need it, but it would be nice to have.
I'm gonna ask Chad if I need a new microphone. I'll start a poll.
Dan,
I kind of feel like I'm cheating here because outside of just a bunch of 4K Blu-rays on Prime Day, I'm actually buying a lot of Liquid Death now.
Oh, what the hell, Dan? I'm sorry. No.
Wait.
I'm sorry. I could do Prime. You're buying Liquid Death now?
Wait,
I will tell you, it was on the. I'll tell you why. I never thought of it. I'd seen the
just
commercials
water?
and everything. Well, that's what I thought too. And this is not a
Back when he
bit
was
or
a fool.
plug or
Yes,
anything.
Jeff, it is.
Back when he was ignorant.
It is. But I'm telling you, I was on the road trip. I was on the way back from, we were stopping at a million gas stations because, oh boy, you want to stop at some gas stations. Have Paul Reichert drive and you will pee and see every gas station between Oklahoma City and Kansas City. You will stop. Oh, the amount of
it
times we
is
stopped was
incredible that
incredible.
you are the one complaining about this. Like, and I'm not saying like, Dan, you have no ground to stand on. It's how often does he pee that even you are annoyed at how often he pees?
I mean, usually, like a lot of times, if he drives me to the airport, like a 40-minute drive, it'll be like he'll pee right before, he'll pull over during the thing if he finds a gas station, and a lot of times, the amount of times I've seen him pull under a bridge on the highway to pee on the side of the road, in a 40-minute drive, we're talking like 3 times ish. Shit, I gotta go sign for a thing.
Yeah,
I'll
no
be back
problem.
to talk about
Okay.
my dad's pee.
All right,
So-
we'll keep a bookmark on Dad's pee there. All right, I guess
Most people have told me that I do not need a new mic, so I'm gonna say
I
myself
don't think you
$100.
need a new mic.
You
Yeah.
don't need it. You don't need
Right,
it.
and
Needs
it's
a
like
hard
if there's an issue one day, you can get it then and make it. I don't know. Do you want to have it
wait
just in
till
the?
it becomes a problem? That's
Yeah,
a good idea.
exactly. Because I don't think you need to like spend the money in case it becomes a problem one day. I think that'd be a bit silly.
Right. Some of us
fair.
had just bought SummerSlam tickets anyway, so yeah. It's fine.
Exactly. Right. That's why I haven't been looking at Prime Day because I spent a lot of money on that. So I'm like, I don't need to spend any more money. But I am curious about getting one of these teleprompters. But I don't. Do I need an Elgato one, or can I get like a random brand on?
Okay, what do
Amazon?
you guys mean by teleprompters? It's not another computer screen. You mean
No.
like
So
what?
what it is it's really what it is. It's a device, a mechanical device that has plexiglass on it that is angled so the camera could go right through it on the back and not see it, but you could see the
Yes.
reflection of a screen. And then the software that you pairs it with makes it reverse and backwards so that when it reflects up to you on the glass, you can read it correctly. And then there's probably
Yes.
buttons to make it go up and down, right?
No, there's not that. So there's a camera, like I'm pointing my camera here. I can't really see it because it's behind the reflective like glass thing.
Right.
The actual monitor thing is down here. I can see it and it's just
Right.
kind of flipping it and turning it. But it's cool. It's got stuff where you can just like see the Twitch chat and stuff like that and like built-in things. Like I haven't spent a lot of time messing with it for like Twitch or anything yet, but so far for just like Zoom calls and stuff, it's cool. But Liquid Death. So my dad pees a lot.
God.
So we're stopping at gas
Is that
stations.
how they make liquid death?
And listen, I was trying to find Prime X because I'm trying to fill out the treasure map to become a millionaire. Of
course.
But I'm missing the 11 piece. So if anybody has the
You're
11
just
piece
missing
and wants to split
Boardwalk.
$1 million
You
with
got
me,
Park Place, but if you can
I
only
just
get
was on one piece, so I buy
I can't-
another piece of chicken nuggets.
I have so many of all the other map pieces. But we're going to cash it in for a
Are they
tech tea
for
and glitch
doing
elixir.
Monopoly? They're basically just doing McDonald's Monopoly?
They are.
Hell yeah.
They are. Yeah. And there's a 1 in 4. There's 4 pieces in the world of this 11 piece that I'm trying to
Okay.
get. Me and 2 friends have been like texting each other 8 times a day with pictures of caps, and I've been filling it in on the
that
treasure chart.
summer
thing.
of the first McDonald's
Lord.
Monopoly was
Yeah.
so
It
insane.
was the most important thing in the world.
It was
Yes.
so important.
It
And then
was we didn't have much going on in the
no,
late
and it
90s.
turned out that
I was
like
gonna
one of the
say,
guys
when was
that
the
had the
first
security like stole all the pieces and won it himself for his
Yeah,
family.
Like we had O.J. Simpson, we found out Ellen was gay, and then we had McDonald's Monopoly.
What a
That's all we
summer.
cared about.
Yes.
Nicaragua
So-
happened there somewhere. I don't know. Yeah.
They didn't have Prime X in one of those. By the way, I still love Prime. I got a fridge full of it. I got a bunch of Costco packs back there. I love it. But that's my hydration drink now. That's my, I just got done with a drink or a run. So this character, I saw it on the shelf and I was like, you know what? I've seen the commercials and stuff. I don't know what the big deal is. I hear people talk about it and stuff. And it was like mango chainsaw. And I was like, all right, I'll see what a mango chainsaw tastes like. And I tasted it and God damn it, if it doesn't taste really good. I think it's doing the same thing Prime does,
So
where it's like
it's
20
flavored
calories.
water.
Yeah, so this is like watermelon, and it's like seltzer,
Okay,
but it's,
so
like,
it's
it's got some
LaCroix.
calories.
Seltzer. It's just bubbly.
Well,
It's just
hang on.
bubbly.
No. So I like bubbly, I like LaCroix, I like all those seltzers and everything, but those are 0 calorie. I think the thing is, I think there's a Dr. Pepper 10 situation. It's like 10
just for
manly
men?
calories.
Isn't that the one you got? Spindrift? Isn't that 10 calories?
Spindrift is low. Spindrift is, and again, I think that's why Spindrift is one of the better ones, is because they do have some calories there, but it's not enough to make you think like, you
That's
drink
an
a thing this
infinite
big as
more
soda.
number of calories than 0, to be fair. So yeah, of course it's better.
These are all like 20, and there is like a serious flavor to it, and it's I bought all the flavors and everything. It's very good.
Doesn't the branding make you feel ashamed though?
Yeah.
Let me
Don't you
look
feel
at
like you should be
everything.
wearing Ed Hardy while you are
Just the
drinking that?
font.
Hang on. Let me
It's
read
the
everything on this
affliction
can.
of waters. That's
Yeah.
right.
Hey,
Let's see. Let me read the things on this can.
Oh,
This
sure.
is the
Yeah, do you have
flavor.
MMA clips on in the background while you're reading this?
The flavor is convicted melon. And
Oh
here
my
it says,
God.
Dan.
Hang on. It says, this ruthless tall boy of flavored sparkling water has a twisted plan to use natural agave and exploding bubbles to murder your thirst and recycle your soul.
Oh,
My
Dan.
goodness.
Dan, it might be a Dr. Pepper 10 situation. This is the most it's not for women thing I've ever seen. It is so
But what if I
scary.
murdered-
This
I
drink,
could
if it
murder
saw
my
a woman, it
thirst.
would evaporate immediately.
I can murder my
Dan.
thirst. It says so on this can. Listen, it tastes good. It tastes
Okay,
Why
I
does
would
it
like
taste good.
to go on the record. Dan, you realize that the base liquid death is literally just water, right?
There is just a
That's the
normal
thing.
flavor.
That's what confused me. So I think I did buy one of those on Prime Day just to confirm that, like, this is just
Okay.
water that's overpriced, right? Which it probably
Yes.
will be. I did not realize they had all these fun flavors, and that's where they got me.
I actually didn't know that either because
Yeah, those
Like,
are
this is
new.
watermelon water that tastes really good, and like so, like now. Legitimately,
Waterfelon,
I normally
excuse
have a couple like Starries, like 0 Starries with my dinner.
Oh.
I feel like this will replace that, and also this is water, so like that is a net positive, right? Like going from diet soda to water, like is that not a net positive?
I
Normally,
mean,
yes.
diet soda is also like
Yes.
90% water, but yeah.
I know, but and I'm not one of those like, oh, diet sodas are terrible for you.
No,
Like diet
aspartame
soda's
rules.
fine. Yeah, it's the best. But this honestly tastes like as good, if not better, than some of that.
The only time I had liquid death, I was at a Final Fantasy concert with the Minottis, and I was like, I got thirsty, and
That's
I
where
was.
I saw it too for the first time.
Yeah, I was thirsty, and so I was like, I'm going to go order a water, and I'll pay for it. Of course, I know where I'm at. I'm at a concert. I'll get a bottle of water, and they hand me this liquid death thing. And I'm like, immediately, I'm like, they're going to give me shit for this. I'm going to go back and sit down with the Minottis, and they're going to give me shit. So I
Justifiably.
should say something and like diffuse it before they make fun of me. And by the time I got back to the seat, I had talked myself into it. Like, no, they're going to know I did not order a liquid death. I just wanted a water. They're going to get it. And I sat down. And I think immediately Mike's like, what the fuck is that? What is that?
I'm gonna start. I would order this at a place.
Yeah,
like,
I'm sure. Yeah.
I'm glad I reacted
mock me
like that.
now. Try it later. You're gonna like it.
I'll
It's
try
good.
it. Of course, I'll try it.
Liquid death. huh?
Hey,
I'm telling you.
How much does a can of that cost, Dan?
I think at the gas station it was like $2.50.
That's like half the price of a core power.
This is like what water would be like in Cyberpunk 2077.
Okay. An 8-pack that I got on Prime Day was $11.15.
That's
Today.
not terrible if it's like a
And they're
16
huge.
ounce
They're like
can
2
or
K.
whatever.
They're
That's
like
on sale.
24. Yeah.
Okay,
It
not
feels like the
sale
official
price.
state water of Idiocracy is what it feels like.
Yes.
Look,
We're gonna
I
start
live
giving
in
that
the-
to plants.
Yeah. Honestly, I saw Idiocracy once when it like first came out, and there was stuff like Ow My Balls and stuff, and I was like,
Well,
that looks
Ow My
like a funny
Balls is
show.
just
I would
art.
watch
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Like, I would
Yes.
absolutely watch that. So,
Yeah.
normally it looks like it's like $13, $13.25.
For like flavored water, like a
Right.
dollar something for like a good can. Yeah, that's okay.
And those are tall boys, Sean. Come on.
I know they're big.
I
You
know
murder
he looks
your
so
thirst.
cool. Yeah.
All right, somebody's got to get this show on track. Jeff, what's the news?
There it is.
There we go.
Too busy talking about dad pee.
All right, I got some news for everybody. And by that, I mean it was a slow news week, so we got some headlines here. We'll get through them, whatever. A fifth Crash Bandicoot game was in the works, but not anymore. It was apparently put on the shelf or canceled or put on hold or something. Former Toys for Bob artist Nicholas Cole claims a fifth Crash Bandicoot game was canceled at the studio. The project, this is actual confusion here. There was another project he worked on called Project Dragon that was separately canceled, then Crash 5 was at the works at Toys for Bob. They aren't working on it anymore, but he said it would be heartbreaking to fans because apparently it was something that they would all want. This is the kind of situation where they're not like, there will never be a Crash 5. This is just like they're not going to do a Crash 5 right now, right?
Right. So to remind people, like kind of the time frame there is, they probably would have had some projects they were working on after Crash 4. And a Crash 5 makes a lot of sense, but it was not too long after that where they did become a Call of Duty support studio under the old Activision management.
Right.
So that's what they became. And they did still put out that Crash Team Rumble,
that's
the
right.
MOBA type thing,
right.
which was a game that they were able to make with a lot of Crash 4 assets, right? So you see how that still was able to happen. Probably not a very big risk, but once they were put on the Call of Duty mill, they were not going to have time to make a Crash 5, which is very stupid. Crash Bandicoot 4 was amazing. Activision Blizzard made a ton of money from the Crash Insane trilogy.
Yes,
Crash
did
4
very well.
That did very well. Crash 4 didn't do that well, but it still sold millions of copies. There was momentum there. You should just keep making Crash games every few years so you do have something there instead of just immediately retreating because the one game didn't make as much money as you think that effort would have going into Call of Duty. And there has to be diminishing returns at some point in terms of just Mike, putting more studios
had
there.
It done better than Insane Trilogy, it's like Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1+2 remake was the best-selling Tony Hawk game of all time, a franchise known for being massive, and then they didn't make a follow-up to that. So at a certain point, it's like, no matter what happens with these other games, you're going to go work on Call of Duty.
But the weird thing is, even when Xbox did kind of come in, Toys for Bob, then it's not like they were like, okay, yeah, you're with us and you're going to become, Crash and Spyro.
You're not with us at all.
Yeah, you can go off on your own instead of us closing you, I guess. Yeah, and what's weird is they are working with Xbox now.
There was a contract made to work on some sort of new project.
Weird.
It's weird.
And it's probably Spyro or Crash, but I'm just like, why didn't you just let them do that as part of you? The whole thing is weird. I hope we still do get Spyro and Crash games because again, hey, the Spyro trilogy also sold incredibly well.
Yes, did very well.
That was such a good one because I never played those, and then they've aged so well.
Yep.
The actual way they put the trilogy together was great. It looked beautiful. That's one of my favorite HD remake remaster
It's just
things.
the amount of time they put in giving all those because in Spyro 1 instead of stars you save dragons, and they gave each dragon this incredible unique design.
Previously they were the same dragon, right?
Yeah, there's a few different models. They had different colors, and each of them had a different design. They were animated so well. It looked so good. The Spyro and Crash remakes are great, but the Spyro ones especially. And that was Toys for Bob.
That's how much talent Activision had, and it kind of all just led to more Call of Duty.
Right, that's it. Toys for Bob is so talented and so incredible. I'm so glad they weren't shut down. It's wild to me that Xbox was just yeah, you can go be on your own then. We'll just we'll get you pro bono or whatever when you need help, I guess. All right.
Yeah, we'll keep you on
retainer.
retainer.
When I say pro bono, it's funny.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about Tony Hawk a lot lately because I am playing Tony Hawk 3 on a Shoot PS2 lately, and oh man, I love the 1+2 remake, and I love emulating and stuff like that. But I am just playing with a DualShock in my hand on a CRT, and everything is so fucking snappy. And every song that's heard, it's God damn it! I've been thinking about Tony Hawk a lot lately, and I just would love more of that.
I got that soundtrack on vinyl recently, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 specifically.
Ooh.
And the vinyl is fun because in between tracks, it'll just kind of play the menu sounds and stuff like that, which all sounds like skateboard stuff. Yeah, that's still my favorite, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3. It's kind of everything I want. 4 in the Thug series when it went more open world, it's still fun, but I definitely prefer the more run-based games.
Yeah, 3 was a sweet spot.
Oh, yes. Mm-hmm. Yes. Can I say my controversial Tony Hawk take?
Sure.
Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 is best on N64.
That's insane.
It feels better. It does.
I am the biggest N64 controller defender on the
No,
planet.
okay, yeah,
He's
listen.
not the controller for Tony Hawk and also the music.
Right, the controller, right, but if you play it on an emulator these days, now I get like, yes.
Fucking cow.
See, I told you it was a hot take.
Get out of here.
I told you.
It's not a hot take. It's stupidity. What are you?
That's a dumb thing
The
to say.
game plays better on the N64 than it does on PlayStation 1.
Piece of shit.
And Dreamcast. It plays better than that one, too.
That's like saying like Super Mario 64. What's the best way to play that? Is it on N64? Is it on
Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2.
It's on PC with the decompilation. Like, yeah,
Tony Hawk's
of
Pro
course
Skater
it is.
2 on everything felt more like the N64 version, which is why that one started really getting better, and then it didn't matter. N64 you couldn't play it on
What
the
about Tony
console.
Hawk's Pro Skater 2X for the Xbox?
Yeah.
That one's very good.
It's not bad.
Yeah,
It's not bad.
It's
Yeah.
a launch game.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
All
that.
right, everyone's mad at me. That's what I like. Link will be playable in The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom. In the upcoming game, The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom, players will be able to assume the role of Link, as confirmed by U.S. Entertainment Software Ratings Board. Basically, the game got rated, and they're like, in the sections where you play as Link, and everyone's like, I thought you played as Zelda. Do you think that this is anything more than the intro section we saw at the beginning of the video?
Or it might be the fucking thing in Spirit Tracks where every once in a while there's this like side little section
Sure.
where it's like, before you go into every dungeon, you do this Link thing to unlock it in a spirit world or something, you know? Like,
Yeah, I mean, it could be that. It could be, just as little as that intro, because it specifically says, like, use a sword and bow and arrow. And I bet, like, that's probably the extent of his abilities, because it is just going to be that little intro, just using his model and his stuff that they already had from the Link's Awakening remake. I'm sure this is still 95% or more playing as Zelda. This isn't like some concern.
Yep.
And also, who gives a shit? If there's like, it's not a big deal.
Right.
Like,
I don't think, at the very least, it's like definitely not a problem. But it's like, oh, okay, is there going to be more than what we saw? I bet it's not. I think it's just the intro. I think you play the intro as Link, and that's it.
I really hope that there's some kid out there somewhere who gets a Metal Gear Solid 2 experience with this game.
That would rule.
Sick.
some kid who
start on
doesn't
a
have an
tanker.
internet connection.
Oh, that would
It's like, oh, a new Zelda game.
Just the man on an island, the last person out there defending Link. All right, we'll see. Resident Evil 7 on iOS has reportedly been purchased by fewer than 2,000 people. Resident Evil 7 on iOS has had a slow start with an estimated 83,000 downloads and $28,140 in revenue, excluding Apple's 30% cut. This suggests that less than 2,000 paying customers have actually converted on the game. Other console ports on iOS have had similar slow launches, although most are like around 10,000 or so in terms of people who have bought it. That's rough. That's rough. I get why this happens in terms of why these games come to the iOS in the first place, where it's basically all the same thing as their computers. So if they make it for Mac, they could just put it on the phone. But do you think they even keep doing this in the future? I don't know. I guess they give it a chance when more people can play it on more devices, right?
Yeah, based on the way, because I did watch WWDC this year, and based on the way Apple's talking about gaming and these AAA games, this feels like an Apple initiative and not specifically a Capcom/Ubisoft initiative.
And those always flame out. Those always, they talk about games at one WWDC, and then 2 years later, there's a new initiative. So,
or even just tech stuff like this in general, that's a little bit disconnected. Like, Stadia talking up some big exclusive or something.
Right.
That's probably Google going to that developer and say, hey, may we work out a deal here? And then, when it doesn't take off, well, obviously then the developer just nopes on out. And this is what we were talking about a little bit before. It's a combination of a lot of these games do require a newer device. You need either the iPhone 15 Pro or you need one of the newer iPads. And so that already limits the market you can address because people upgrade their phones slower and slower nowadays. So there's plenty of people out there, I'm sure, with like a iPhone 12 who have slapped a backbone on and might want to check this out, but they can't. And then only within this newer audience, you're going to charge them full price for it. That's not what they expect out of mobile gaming. Even if it is a AAA quality game, like a MiHoYo game or, any of the other ones similar to that, they expect it to be free to play the whole way through.
Yep.
I just remembered that Metal Gear Solid 4 had an iPhone version in 2009. And I just Googled it to make sure I'm not losing my mind. And Metal Gear Solid
like a cover shooter.
Well, yeah, but it's like I'm looking at it now in both the wiki and also this Kotaku article. I guess they put the whole story in there. So like the entire story of Metal Gear Solid
I didn't know that.
But like it's just like a shooting gallery thing where you're just like tapping the screen and like pinch to zoom on the sniper and stuff like that. But imagine experiencing the MGS4 story on a fucking 2009 iPhone.
Do you still crawl through the microwave tube? Like it's just tapping? Like,
I would imagine. Like everything I'm seeing says that it has the whole story, which is insane.
It's so it's like Final Fantasy 15 Pocket Edition.
Yeah,
kind
that's
of
what it sounds like.
Oh.
Okay, weird.
Wow.
Like,
They've been trying this for a while, haven't they?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They keep wanting to make this work, but
Well, the idea is like, there's billions of these devices in the world. If we can get them buying those games, then we can keep making games like this. And boy, that's just not going to happen, huh?
Nah, and it all comes down to the monetization. Someday they'll realize you can't just take this, solo single player experience designed for a stationary console and then just port it over to a random device and expect it to work. Because the reason something like a Steam Deck takes off or a Switch port of something is because the people buying those devices are the people who want to play on a console or a PC. It's the same audience. You can't just grab this entirely different audience and expect them to think the same way that someone like us might.
And it's just so far disconnected. Like imagine it's the same thing as like you used to pay for a newspaper every day, and now you go to the website and it comes to your house free every day. Now, what if you had to pay for that website once a day to read it? And no one can ever imagine doing that again. And they're not going to do that with these games on devices. They've just moved past that monetization scheme.
By the way, because
please.
we brought up Metal Gear Solid, dude, we need to do Metal Grub Solid just so Jeff Grubb can experience the story of Metal Gear Solid 4 in its entirety. I so badly want you to see that.
It's so good.
I would do it. Yeah, I'll do it. I want to. So yeah. All right.
I want my missed playthrough first.
Yeah, say the whole name, you dumb bastard. Go ahead. We know what you want to do here.
The fear of missing out.
Yeah.
Monday mornings missed with Mitch.
Yeah, there's a colon in there.
It's good.
Why didn't we do this when Grubb was gone? That was all right.
I didn't get a call.
Hey, I got another vacation coming up later this year. I'm going to Disney World. So.
Everybody, I know it's a good idea. One at a time.
No, Minotti, we're on Giant Bomb. We just need to shoehorn your name into the name of the game. That's what we do here. Check out Metal Gear Scanlon on YouTube. The full run.
Incredible.
Rockstar's GTA Plus subscription service could be coming to Nintendo Switch. Rockstar Games is reportedly planning to bring its GTA Plus subscription service to Nintendo Switch as per an update on its website. GTA Plus offers access to a variety of Rockstar titles, including GTA Online benefits, such as extra cash, cars, cosmetics, and exclusive events, but GTA 5 isn't on Switch.
Right, that's what I was just wondering, yeah.
Right, so currently Red Dead Redemption, Grand Theft Auto, the trilogy, the Definitive Edition, and LA Noire are available on Nintendo Switch and could be included in the service, which I think you get as part of your GTA Plus subscription, but GTA 5 is not. But,
you know what would be an interesting Switch 2 launch game, though?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, right.
GTA Online.
GTA 5?
Do they still do the Rockstar Social Club thing?
Yeah.
I think so,
They do?
yeah. You
Okay.
talk about the
I remember
app?
that being
Yeah.
a pain in the ass.
Yes, I hate
like,
that thing, yes.
Yeah,
So
it sucks.
sucks.
Yeah.
Right, that was like that. I was trying to play those modded games, the community modded games where like you drive a car up a hill or something like that, and it was so confusing how to activate those inside the game. So you got to go to the website and then go to the app and then activate inside the app and then you go in the game and you find certain stuff inside the game. It's a pain in
The
the
amount
ass.
of bullshit we had to do to make that GTA Crime Crew feature back in the day
that
was
seemed
insane.
Yeah, absolutely. But I've never really played much GTA Online, so I still kind of want to go experience that a little bit.
Either. Just kind of weird. You think
Jan
it's
keeps talking about it, and there's new content all the time. Maybe we just go in there, mess around a little bit. We don't have to do a recreation of the Crime Crew, but just mess around.
It also would be easier now because back then no one was doing like remote stuff.
stuff.
I mean,
True, that's
people
right.
were, but it wasn't as easy as
Yes,
it is.
it
now,
wasn't
you know?
well thought out as we have it now.
Right.
Yeah, good point.
Right.
Interesting.
Us all bringing in hard drives to Vinny with like 50 gigabytes of raw footage on it for him to go through all of it into a Premiere timeline. Oh my God.
Yeah, that was crazy. Ubisoft says it's actively working on the Driver franchise. Plans for a live-action Driver series have been canceled, but Ubisoft says it still has plans for the Driver franchise despite no major game releases in over a decade. Ubisoft's Driver-related subsidiary, Hot Rod Tanner LLC, which was the name of the character, by the way, was dissolved in January, and that was going to make the show.
Man,
Dan, you're
just
fan of
a decade. I feel like it's been way longer than that.
What was the last driver game? Was that Driver
San Francisco, the one where you're a ghost man that travels between cars. It was awesome.
Okay, I need to play that game.
There was a mobile one in 2014, Driver Speedboat Paradise. You all forgot about Driver Speedboat Paradise.
What the hell? Okay. Fair enough. You like the driver, Dan?
I like Driver 1. I liked a lot. I like just the mode where it's just like, okay, these cops are going to come try to kill you and see how long you can survive. That was fun. I like a lot of ramps. It's set in San Francisco. I like ramps. And then San Francisco had such a goofy ass gimmick of like you're in a coma, but your spirit can travel between cars. And it had that crazy tag mode, so local multiplayer mode that Ben Hansen introduced me to. And it's one of the weirdest, most like hidden gem. So it's like a tag mode thing. Did we do this for Extra Life, Manani? Does this sound familiar?
No, because I've never played a driver somehow, which is weird. It's a big series, and I mean the first one predates GTA 3 in terms of being like an actual 3D open world driving game kind of thing.
It is open, but you're not like getting out of the car and stuff until
Driver 2 did that, I think.
Yeah, it's so cool that the tag mode, though, is like, okay, both of us start in this open world, and we can at any point zoom out, like zoom the map up, like Google Maps style, and then bring a cursor over any other car and take it over, and it's just a tag mode. So it's like, okay, I'm it, and so I need to tag Grub, but we can be warping between cars and stuff. So like our souls are leaving cars, and it's just the most chaotic, fun local multiplayer thing. We have to do that for the next Extra Life, dude.
Yeah, let's do it. That sounds great.
What happened with Driver 3? It's like average
Drive 3R? Drive 3R?
Yeah, Drive 3R.
Drive 3R.
Drive 3R.
Yeah. GBA version was supposed to be okay, but it looks like the console version was rough.
Wasn't great, yeah.
All right. I guess they're working on Driver, I guess. I hope it's not just Assassin's Creed repainted as a driver game or something like that, but...
Sounds better than Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, it does, actually. Double Dragon Revive revealed Ukes is working on a 3D revival. This is also with Arc System Works. Double Dragon Revive, developed by Ukes, who's known for the wrestling games, of course, releasing in 2025 for PS4, PS5, Xbox Series, Xbox One, and PC. Double Dragon Revive features classic gameplay with refined controls and balance, supervised by staff experienced in Arc System Works fighting games, while making it accessible to new players. It feels like there's a Double Dragon revival every couple of months.
That's what I was just going to say. They did Neon, and then was it 4 or something that came out?
We had Gaiden not too long ago, and that was like the roguelike one with the pixart, and it's good.
Yeah, me and Mike both like it, and we're the only ones on Earth who ever talked about it.
Yeah, it really got slept on because that came out last year when it was just like a million other games were coming out. But it was actually, I enjoyed it. I really liked the way that it looked. It had a ton of playable characters. This, meanwhile, it looks like a Ukes game.
Yes.
It's kind of ugly 3D models.
3D?
It's 3D.
Like Final Fight Streetwise. Like that rarely works, like turning that type of game into a 3D.
It doesn't look as bad as Streetwise, but it does. I don't even know if it looks as good as Double Dragon Neon did.
Right.
Don't love the way it looks. It might still be fun,
because it's like they're working with Arc System Works and they're not using Arc's incredible visuals.
Well, Arc System Works is a publisher also. And that's,
but still they're overseeing it. Like, I just would like that.
Yeah, it looks like it might be some other tech, but without the cell shading, which is literally the problem with adapting that art style. Like, you need everything.
Yeah.
Jeff, I know we talk about this all the time, but there was just a period in our lives in the NES era where Double Dragon was one of the big franchises.
Yes. It got a fucking movie.
Yes.
It got a movie. There was a cartoon. It's like,
every one of your friends had it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone had opinions on it. Like, it was like you
Zelda,
talked about it actively. Like, it was cool. Like, there was definitely multiple times during recess in elementary school where we played Double Dragon. We pretended to be Bimmy and Jimmy.
I like that idea of games that, like, back in the day were considered among with the top tier.
They were in the canon. They were on Mount Rushmore then and not anymore.
Yeah, because there are weird ones like, Castlevania was one of those, and then it had all these like dips and valleys and stuff like that. But like Double Dragon just kind of fell off.
Even though
Castlevania is big,
it still matters. Still is the anime, but 100%.
But what else is like in that Double Dragon tier of like during the NES days? Like Bubble Bobble? I don't know.
Well, I mean, there's Battletoads who one time met the Double Dragon.
That series Mega Man.
Okay,
no, come on now.
They still make a lot of merchandise for Mega Man, at least.
I'm joking.
I stole my Mega Man dice game over here.
Adventure Island. I fucking love Adventure Island.
Yeah, Adventure Island's really good. Yes, I guess Contra a little bit. Nylack. I mean, there was a Contra recently, but no one cared about it.
Did Adventure
Yeah.
Island die because Hudson just started making Mario Party money?
Probably.
Yes, I think so.
They killed my baby. Adventure Island.
The weird guy that lived down the street. I guess he wasn't weird. He was a
Not
normal.
your wife.
What's that?
The caveman. Bonk.
I know,
you know-
TurboGrafx. Yeah.
Bonk
is
Bonk,
great.
definitely yes. There was a guy that lived down my street. He's like, you just want to borrow Adventure Island? I know you like video games, and I played that, and that's where I learned about that game. And yeah, good.
You guys
series.
ever play Super Adventure Island 2 on the SNES? It's kind of a
Yeah,
It's
I
kind of
think so.
Metroidvania. It rules. It's
Yep.
very
Really?
good. Very
Wow.
very underrated SNES game. Super Adventure Island 2 specifically. It's very cool.
That was like purely an NES series for me. Like I rented 1, 2, and 3 a million times. And I don't think I ever made the jump to Super with it.
Play Super Adventure Island 2.
rented
It's
it.
great.
I like how the big power up is a skateboard and it just makes it easier to die. I'm just going to run into a rock
But
or
it
off a
looked
cliff.
cool. I loved getting the skateboard every time.
Yeah.
Power Man is not what he used to be, but he's around.
Yeah. I have been wanting to you were talking about Streetwise, and that made me think about Bomberman Act Zero. Just play
reviewed
all the
that.
bad glow up
Sweet,
games.
merciful.
Every game that was trying to be cool and gritty, and play all of those back to back. That would be fun. All right, Riot Games reportedly canceled plans for a Smash Brothers style fighter. Riot Games canceled the plans for the game. The platform fighter was in development with a team of around 70 to 80 developers and had evolved to include party game elements and casual mechanics. Riot executives were concerned about the game's potential success, citing the performance of Warner's free-to-play crossover fighter Multiverses. Mike, do you think there was a chance for a League of Legends a platform fighter to succeed?
I mean, maybe, but not much of one. It's hard. We've seen so many people try to come after that space, and it's just very difficult to topple Nintendo, even when we are like years away from the release of the last Smash Bros. Because people will just keep playing those games. Multiverse seemed like it had a little bit of momentum immediately, and that died down quick. And when they relaunched it, it didn't really seem like there was that much excitement or momentum there. It's also weird because they are making like their actual like normal 2D fighting game. So working on both of those at the same time kind of seems bizarre. Probably a smart thing just to focus on. I can't remember what the 2D fighting game is called anymore.
2XKO.
How could I forget?
How could you forget that name?
I like that
Yes.
name. I'm
Yeah.
going to defend it.
Great. Yeah, you can defend that.
It's
in
the
Tony Hawk's
N64
Pro
Tony Hawk
Skater
of
on-
game names, yes.
Exactly. You can chug a liquid death while you do it.
Oh, yeah, let's go.
Yeah, I mean, look, part of me sad because I like those kind of fighting games, and maybe they could have made a good one. And I'm also sad because I don't play League of Legends, but I do think there's a lot of fun characters there. I would like to have a way to kind of interact with that world more, and maybe a platform fighter would be a good way to do that. But I can kind of see why you just want to focus on the other fighting game.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
kind of
that's-
don't need two fighting games.
Speaking of the characters, that's why I'm excited for 2XKO, is because it is a way to interact with that world without having to play a MOBA where, the chat's going to be super toxic to you all the time.
Right.
I think part of the problem with anyone making a platform fighter is that so many just miss the point, and that's why any of these like big, large-scale ones are destined to fail most of the time, is because they try to make Super Smash Bros. Melee. You don't make Super Smash Bros. Melee. You can't recreate that magic, because the magic of that was people played it casually, liked it so much that they wanted to play it competitively, and that's how the competitive Smash community really began to grow. And you can't just replicate that organic growth out of nowhere.
Yep.
Now I think they see, Smash sells 10 million, 15 million, 20 million copies of the newest release, and they're like, we gotta get in on that. We have IP, we have these characters we can put in, not realizing that you need to make it for the casual audience. And if the casual audience isn't, glued to your franchises the way they are Mario and Zelda and everything, and they can just, play it casually where they're chucking items at their friends and stage hazards kill you and y'all like laugh about it. That's how you get people in the door. You can't have this like ultra competitive 1v1, like so flat platform and everything. You'll get a small core audience, but you're not going to see huge growth. That's why Multiverses is a good idea in general, because it is a very large portfolio of IP mixed with free to play. That's the first time that really happened. But even they, started to struggle a little bit as players fell off.
It's got 3,500 active players right now, and it usually has around 5,000 according to Steam charts.
Yeah. Sounds right.
Yeah, I mean, to me at this point, it's like the better idea is Nickelodeon, that version where it's like, no, we'll just put out a game for $20, and then here's a sequel a few years later with more characters and more stuff, and that's also $20. Buy it, have a party game, and then maybe we'll have another one in a few years.
And then later, I think they put that on Game Pass recently. There's another little windfall for you guys. Like, make some money.
Make some money.
But have reasonable expectations. Like, look, you have, you have Garfield and SpongeBob SquarePants. Like, okay, that's fine.
That's not ever going to be an Evo, let alone the number one most entrants is at like a fighting game tournament, the way Melee and Ultimate is.
No, exactly.
All right, Nintendo releases creepy teaser trailer for mystery M-rated Switch game. Nintendo has teased a mystery horror game titled Emio, or Smiling Man in Japanese. The trailer features a Nintendo Switch logo and M and 18 ratings from the ESRB and PEGI, respectively. The hashtag #WhoIsEmio is included in the trailer description and Nintendo's social media posts. The Japanese video description links to a teaser website. Nintendo recently held a direct presentation, but it did not include this game there. We still haven't heard anything more about this, and it really is just 15 seconds of a man standing around. And who is Emio? What do you guys expect from this?
This is first party teasing it?
Well,
Nintendo is teasing it?
People are assuming it's first party, and it probably is because there is no reference to a third party publisher or developer in the description or in the video itself. Yeah. And Nintendo, is Nintendo going to do that for someone else? Are they going to put themselves on the line for another company? I don't think so.
No.
I assumed it was Fatal Frame, but if it's, first party internal, I don't know. Maybe it's just a completely new horror game. They've done weird swings
super
like
published one
before.
of those Fatal Frames, though, right? Where it's like basically it was a first party game that was made by the third party company.
5 or something.
Yeah. I guess it could be that again, but I don't know. I don't know about Fatal Frame to know if this is a reference to that. No one's really said that. So
it just seems like I guess they're making a horror game. We don't know who's making it. We probably won't know until we see the credits.
Yep.
Like fucked up Luigi's Mansion.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly.
Like we say horror game, and we understand like the vibe, but like that could be so many things. Like, are we expecting a Silent Hill or a Resident Evil or something completely weird and different here?
It should be a WarioWare mixed with Night Trap is what it should be.
That'd be fun. With the Night Trap song.
We have licensed the Night Trap song. They're not doing anything with it. Exactly.
It's a new Manhunt, and that's why Rockstar's service is coming to Switch.
That's right, exactly. And you got to play with the Wiimotes. So you can actually snap necks, right?
Yep. And the microphone, if you're talking, they can hear you. Yeah.
God. Nintendo brings 3 Japan-only Game Boy Advance platformers to the Switch Online. Nintendo has released 3 previously unreleased games that were only available in Japan: Starfy, Starfy 2, and Starfy 3.
Starfy's cool.
Starfy's cool. The DS one apparently did come to North America.
Yes. Sean, are you also disappointed in Jeff's lack of Starfy knowledge over the past week?
I feel like he should know more about Starfy.
Yeah, I feel like I should know more about Starfy too. Yes, I agree.
Yeah, how much you emulate and everything?
Yeah, I feel like if I had not reviewed that game when it came out on DS, I don't think I ever would have heard about it. I've never heard anyone else bring it up or anything, so I could see why it would
I've seen the picture a bunch of times, and I was like, I should play that, and then I just never did. And part of it was no one was there going, well, yeah, you should definitely play Starfy. No one's ever said that to me.
I like getting Japanese games on the English stores or NSOs. That's fine. These games are relatively text dependent, though. I don't think you're gonna have a good experience.
There was
really
a moment in the trailer for this where they announced this, where they're like, and here's Starfy 2, and it was like 30 seconds of text from the story, and it was all in Japanese. It was like, what the hell are you doing here?
So it's like, but it'd be like, oh, okay, here's Mother 3, but it's not translated. It's not quite as bad as that. But it's like, thanks, I guess.
Starfy's at least like mostly a platformer, so it's like,
Yeah. I gave the DS one an 8.8, and I said, here's hoping for more Starfy titles in the future and possibly re-releases of the ones we never got to play here in the States. So they must have read that review. Excellent.
Jeff, I'm sorry I insinuated you're a bad person for not knowing more about Starfy.
No, like I said, I think I should know more about Starfy too. I agree.
You should.
Yeah. But fuck you, Mike.
It's right. Is it literally Hal who did it, by the way? No, I don't know. Was it literally the Kirby people who made Starfy?
It looks a lot like Kirby, but I don't know.
All right.
Maybe it's the people that did Hamtaro.
Oh, it was Tosei.
Tosei. Okay.
Ham Heartbreak.
Yeah.
Who's better, Starfy or Rystar?
Starfy.
Starfy.
Rystar looks like a European platformer character, and I mean that like parentheses negative.
Like that was probably Danny O'Dwyer's Mario.
He's like that egg. Yeah. Who's that egg or Plock? He's like Plock.
Plock.
Plock. Fucking Plock.
No, Dizzy. Isn't the egg Dizzy like Fantastic Dizzy
that's
or
it.
something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like 20 of those games. They're all at a
All that feels like,
Yeah.
like the government's like, all right, here's the government mandated Mario. That's what it feels like.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. That does it for that does it for the news. I'm gonna hand the show back over to Jen. Oh my God, he's not here.
Oh no!
Oh God! He panicked. All right, we're gonna take another break. When we get back, we'll answer some electronic mails.
Wow.
We are the electronic mails. And we're back. We're gonna get some emails here pretty quick, but I don't know, Dan, you want to show off your package, or is that private?
Why?
Is your package private? Is your package private? I don't.
Not for free.
It's this.
Oh,
I just
look
got
at
this
this.
in the
Oh,
mail.
God.
Look
It's
at
so
that.
good.
It's
Yeah.
Castlevania Aria of Sorrow complete in the box.
Oh,
Now-
yeah.
The Game Boy
Dan,
Advance.
What is the
That's
like? What's the plan here? You have it complete in box. Do you take it out of the box and play it, or now you just go play it on one of your devices?
No, I collect. I just
collect it. Okay, you just want to see it
there
on the
are ways
shelf.
to play this game.
Right, exactly.
I probably
That's-
have 17 things in this room. What? Did a bird just fly through Minotti's room?
Okay, this
Wait,
is-
Mike, you
what
okay?
the fuck just happened?
This is
I
what
don't
I was
know.
worried about.
What are you talking
Is he
about?
doing bits?
I thought
Is he
I
doing
saw
bits?
something.
So you have
He's
your
doing bits.
is he doing bits, Mister? I got a teleprompter, so I'm going to stare into your heart.
What are you doing? That's just being a professional.
We might have told him about virtual camera. We might have told him.
Oh no!
can say?
Oh no!
We might have
Damn
told him
it.
about OBS cam. So now he can control what we see beside him.
Fuck.
He's going to have some
God,
fun.
Look how smug he is.
I know,
Look at
right?
that
And I was
smile.
like, it's going to be an arms race between you two with the dumb technology on
Look
this
at
episode.
Welcome to my library. It's like your tiny little mice looking in at me. I can go reach out and grab you. Get out of there. Ah!
This guy doing visual jokes on an audio medium.
Right?
My
Isn't it? It's
goodness.
so
Unprofessional
inconsiderate.
move. Jeez.
Oh, Mister, you were showing off the game you got. You didn't even say the name of it. I had to.
I was talking about video games on this video game podcast. I'm being a professional.
Get out of here, little mouse.
Emails. You can email the podcast by sending them to bombcast@giantbomb.com. That is bombcast@giantbomb.com. Let's hop in with this first email. Hey, Bomb Crew, Tyler from Gilbert, Arizona here. When I was in college, the best class I took was an It's very distracting, whatever you're doing with your hand. It was... When I was in college, the best class I took was an elective class called George Lucas and Steven Spielberg movies. It was a great class for two reasons. One, it was a full semester packed into 3 weeks, where we just did stuff on Friday night and all day Saturday. So you had one less class for the rest of the semester. And two, all we did was watch movies, discuss them, and write a few papers comparing and contrasting the two filmmakers. My question for you all is, if Giant Bomb had to make a similar video game class with only 2 topics you could discuss, compare and contrast for a semester, what would it be? Hideo Kojima and Shigeru Miyamoto games, Yakuza and Grand Theft Auto, Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat? I'd love to hear your thoughts.
They nailed it with Kojima and Miyamoto. That's my
That would
3
be
favorite
incredible, yeah.
franchises right there. Yeah.
Here's my problem with that. I think Spielberg and Lucas have a connection that Kojima and Miyamoto don't really have.
Yeah, they
Do
like...
you think they've met?
Oh
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
100%.
Is this documented?
In my diary, yeah,
Maybe.
my dream journal.
I feel like for Twin Snakes, they have to have like met at some point. Like Japanese development is small enough that
I think
has
both
to
of their
happen.
pictures are on the Psycho Mantis wall. Yeah, so they met in that room.
He hasn't met as frequently as he met. God, now I can't remember his name to complete my joke. Tommy Tallarico. There we go.
Yeah.
There it is. They work hand in hand on Metroid Prime.
I got it. Tommy
Yeah.
Tallarico and Jeff Keighley. We got to compare the boyfriends in this one.
my.
Sure.
I want Dennis Dyack and Randy Pitchford.
That's a good one. That's a nightmare. But yeah.
There you go.
It's a nightmare.
That'd be fun.
There was a PS here. I'm watching Better Call Saul right now, and they did the trick with a shaking can of soda you all discovered a few months back. Cheers.
I discovered it from that episode of Better
right.
Call
Yeah, that's
Saul.
where it's
Yes.
from.
But you've also
Yes.
you've also rebuked it. You've also
I
said
won't do it anymore.
You won't do it anymore.
I won't do it. I've retired it. It's like Will Ospreay with the Tiger Driver.
Right.
Yeah. I can't do it. It fucked up.
Yeah, it went bad on you once. You broke a neck. You fractured a neck bone, and now you can't do it
Well,
anymore.
you get
Where was
cocky. You don't let it settle long enough, and then
I did it at
happens.
I think it was the poker table. Yeah, I think I did it there, and I was like, well, I can just never do this again. Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Joe from New York. Oh my God, I can't believe this shit is actually real. I just saw a commercial for Sky Rizzy. Minotti didn't just make that shit up. Who let the Zoomer scientist name the drug?
I hate that the commercial is good. I
What
hate
is
that
Sky
the
Rizzy?
the song is
It's
catchy.
his new drug.
What's it do?
It's gonna be
Crohn's.
my new Crohn's medicine. I get my infusion on Thursday. Very
What
exciting
do they
stuff.
like dip you in a pool with like cucumbers in it or something?
No,
How are you
I think I
being
get
infused?
an IV, Jeff.
Okay, wow.
Yeah.
You have to get all scientific about it, Jesus.
I was like, it sounds scary, but like they didn't tell me anything about side effects. Like, yeah, just come in, have somebody drive you. I was like, oh, are there gonna be side effects? Like, yeah. Okay.
You don't need to know about those. It's just your
Get
body.
me sky rizzed up. Let's go.
You are the Sky Rizzler. That's right.
Sky Rizzler. I like it.
Rich from Seattle. I've been listening to the news surrounding Xbox and found myself wondering what is next for their hardware. I mainly game on Xbox because I'm old and left PC gaming when kids became a part of my life. I'm not seeing a good argument for getting whatever hardware they make next other than the sunk cost in my library. So is my future a gaming PC, or is there a possibility of their next console being a low-grade gaming PC open to Steam? Thanks, Rich from Seattle.
I mean, both of those things could be true based on what we've been hearing. But
Yeah, but if someone, like, let's say someone came to you and they were describing themselves this way, like, I was into PC gaming once, I've been playing Xbox, what should I do next?
bro,
Just get back into
PC.
PC gaming.
PC in the living room. Like
It's the safest option long term.
I've been chatting this up when you have stories like this on Game Us Mornings. I've been chatting up people in the Giant Bomb chat a little bit here and there. I'm trying to tell people, yo, you can't just build a PC for your living room. Like, I know you might think like PC gaming, oh, this is $2,000. I need all this stuff. No, you can buy a PC for
Get one
the
of those
price of
mini
a
PCs.
console.
They're pretty good.
I know,
Boots. it boots into Steam OS, so you control it like a console, and you just use it like a console.
You're right, and I'm sure we've all done that, and like we know how easy it is and stuff. But I think there is a large amount of gamers out there who, like, I think of, like, my sister Kayla. She's played games her entire life. She's never used computers. Like when she was starting to stream, I had to explain to her the difference between like the monitor and the tower and stuff like that. So like the idea of like all the little things you have to do when you're getting just stuff that we do all the time, just changing the resolution, different settings and stuff that they've never heard of. Like, I think there are a lot of gamers who just don't know the first thing about what Steam is, or people that play tons of stuff on PlayStation, Xbox, because they buy the thing, they put it in, and it works. So like,
right. Absolutely,
I don't think it's as easy as you think it is for a lot of people.
No, I am specifically talking about someone like this who is already into PC gaming.
He played PC gaming in the past.
How a computer works.
Okay, in that case, then that's
for someone who's completely outside of it. I would say like Steam Deck is a good gateway to that. Definitely. It's because it is so consoleized through and through. But someone in the chat also says $500 doesn't buy you a good game PC. No, it buys you a console. That's what it buys you. You can just have a console level PC, and that's okay. Yeah. It doesn't need to be doing ray tracing at native 4K, 120 FPS. It's okay for you to have a lower grade PC and run at console settings, and then you just get all the benefits of having a PC as well.
Yep. It sounds like this person has like an Xbox Series something right now.
Yes, that's what they have right now in the library on there.
Yeah, so look, like if you're anxious about what they're going to do next, I think you could still wait. You're going to be fine with that for a while still. Like most of the games you're going to care about are still going to come out on that console. You can see what the next Xbox is going to look like if it's appealing. If you're antsy, then yeah, you can go and look into building a PC right now, because that is definitely the most future-proof thing you could do at the moment. But I don't think there's some urgent rush out for you to make a decision like that right now.
Yeah, and you also have a bit of a parachute if you are playing on Xbox, because if you do go back to PC gaming in whatever form that may take for you, if it is on a Windows machine, a lot of that will transfer over. Like if you're buying stuff, if you're using Game Pass, you can fire up the Xbox app. It's not as seamless, but there is that method for you. And if you're worried about like controlling it and everything like that, just I have it buried back there somewhere. But like one of those Logitech wireless keyboard and trackpad combos, it's very easy to like get back to that, but just in your living room. So if, like Mike said, Xbox isn't just gonna vanish overnight. But if you're not feeling great about the platform and you do want to go back, there are options for you. And I think it's easier than ever to get back to that if you want to.
Yep, definitely. All right, next email. Good evening, Bombers. This is Joe from Charlotte. This last Sunday morning, I went to Bojangles for breakfast and stumbled upon the standee of Big E, Kofi Kingston, and Xavier Woods promoting the new WWE sandwich combo. Aside from being objectively hilarious, it got me thinking about celebrity product endorsements in general. What are y'all's favorites? And I'll bring this up so everyone can see it real quick. Just give me a moment.
Yeah. It's not really celebrity, but Jeff's pod racing shirt is making me think of when episode 1 came out, and like all three of those restaurants owned by Pepsi, with Pizza Hut, Taco Bell, and KFC, like did the
Yum
giant
Brands.
episode. Yeah. And like each one represented one of the 3 different planets from the movie, and I was like, this is important. Like I loved going there and getting all the stupid crap and Jar Jar Binks cups you can get and everything like that. It was good times.
I liked Mick Foley with the perfect ravioli for all mankind, the Chef Boyardee.
Yeah. I also liked JR screaming about Skittles over the course of weeks, just trying to make Jerry Lawler laugh every time.
Just the funniest voice. Fruity, delicious. Just incredible.
It just got more and more intense.
Taz with Final Fantasy X2.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. Yuna, brother. Yuna's my favorite, brother.
Yeah, I know you love Logan Paul whenever he comes out with Prime during the wrestling show, Paul.
Yeah, you always pop for Logan.
He's a good wrestler.
This emailer also said, my favorite is the Japanese ad featuring Hugh Jackman. Bonus podcast points for the team if they can guess what the product is before the end of the ad. I'm just going to play it. You guys should be able to hear it. You guys hear it?
Yeah.
Yes.
You guys can see it on the...
I'm watching it live.
Yeah,
He's reading a magazine about himself. A handsome man. It looks like it's for Lipton tea, or is it not?
It's for Lipton tea, Mike. You got it.
Oh, wow.
Wouldn't have guessed from him holding the Lipton iced tea.
Is that the same one that Stallone, they had the celebrity deathmatch looking Stallone doing a Lipton brisk?
I remember that. Yeah, that was brisk. Yeah, that was from back in the day. I don't think that was Japan like this one, but hey.
Man, all right, there he goes. Yeah, he's getting
This
into
commercial rules.
it. Yeah, this is good. Man, Japanese commercials are so much better.
Yeah, they
Should
are.
get a Zen garden.
I thought he was gonna walk on the water. That would have been so sick.
Yeah.
There we go. Yeah, do you guys have any other favorites, celebrity endorsements?
I hope New Day are getting paid for this, unlike the old regime where it just went against your downside and they're getting paid.
Uh-huh.
Oh boy.
Hopefully that's changed since I left.
Yeah, I would hope
there you
so.
go.
They should be able to make those deals themselves on their own. 'Cause
That would be great,
that's
wouldn't
what
it?
the whole thing is. All right. Mr. Knowledge Bro from Sweden writes in. This is an update on when we talked about Zen on some podcast. Might have been the voicemail dump truck. Zen is a form of snooze. Is that how you say it? Snooze? Which is, who am I asking? You guys have probably never done it either. Which is deeply ingrained into the Swedish culture and is like a form of chewing tobacco, but you put it under your lip and look like an idiot. Regular snooze is fucking horrific, but like 30% of all Swedes do it. It is as common as cigarettes. Zen is like the vanilla version of snooze without all the life-threatening stuff, but only the addiction stuff. Snooze is really big amongst Swedish hockey dudes. Tell Jeff Bakalar that almost every Swedish player in the NHL has been doing snooze since they were 14 years old. Yes, a recommendation, don't do snooze or Zen. It is disgusting. You look like shit. You smell like shit. Your teeth are destroyed, and you are presented to a nice collection of potential cancers. So,
Still a good amount of that stuff in Kansas.
oh yeah, sure.
Like spitting. Yeah.
Right, that like the
pretend to make
chewing
it sound
tobacco,
cool.
like Zen is like little pouches. So you don't have to spit anything, and it's like, and there's no tobacco in there.
Interesting.
And it's become very popular with like finance bros because they can like get a buzz during the day and not have to go smoke cigarettes.
The only time I ever was like really around a lot of people who did chewing tobacco was when I worked in the restaurant industry in the kitchen. That suddenly everybody was doing it for some reason. I
That's
don't know
exactly
what
where
it
I
was
want my
about that
chewing
line of
tobacco
work.
to be, is right next to my
Right,
food.
exactly. You should have seen the cups.
Yes, I do not. No, I don't want to see the cups. It's like the last thing on earth I want to look at is
Yeah,
someone's
it's not
used chewing
pleasant.
tobacco cup.
Yeah. I thought I had a bad one where it's in my welding class in high school, everyone did chew because, kind of guys who would do that. And then where do they do it? They want to spit it in the buckets of water that we would dunk our hot metal into to cool it off. And so the teacher had to like sit everyone down. It's like, look, guys, first of all, you can't do chew. I'm not saying you can, but you can't spit in the buckets, guys. Come on now.
Oh, good times. Hey, Bombers, Jeff from Quebec. Grub mentioned he'd like to talk about everyone's past employment, so here goes. What was your favorite job and worst job you had before you got in the gaming/streaming industry? For me, my favorite was easily movie projectionist back when there was actual film. Worst was cleaning kid vomit at the same theater. And then Bachelor doesn't need to answer because he's not here. Cheers, Jeff from Quebec. Who wants to start? Mike, you want to go?
Yeah, I actually had a couple of friends who were film projectionists, like right before that stopped being a thing. At least a couple of times I would just kind of go up there and hang out with them. So that was pretty fun. But for me, my best job, I worked at a law firm, just like helping file their stuff away, me and my friend. It was a very easy job. They just had some like dungeon basement of a bunch of files. We just put on music. We had to like go look through each file, find out when the case ended, and write it on the front. But mostly we just kind of goofed around a bunch. That was easy. The pizza place I worked at, that was like a busy, tough job, but that was kind of fun. It was an interesting collection of characters. I worked at a different restaurant where I was just a dishwasher. That was poorly managed and just not very fun, and that was a lame summer, but nothing crazy or anything. But I think that's basically I had those three jobs. Then like some stupid like campus jobs, like I watched the computer labs in the English department.
Sure.
Yeah, and the pizza one until I started doing this full time. So just like 5 jobs or so, nothing crazy.
I had like 20 jobs.
Yes.
Yeah, but you quit a lot of them.
I did quit most of them, yeah, and then I got fired. I got fired from a couple, including for my favorite job, FedEx. I worked at the sorting center at the FedEx outside of Columbus, Ohio. So big, like containers would come in off of the planes with a ton of packages, and then someone was in those containers throwing them on the conveyor belt. Conveyor belts.
People in the containers?
There were people in the containers. They would throw everything onto the conveyor belt, and they would all get sent into the center of the building, and that's where I was. So there's this huge like tray filled with packages, and there's like 10 of us. and we would all get our own like pile here in front of us, and then there were several conveyor belts marked with the location that each box had like labeled on it, and we had to physically pick up the box and put it on the right conveyor belt so it could go to its next location. And it was 4-hour shifts of just doing this pretty much nonstop. And I could like shut my brain off and just go super fast and just move things, and it was like a good exercise, and I didn't have to deal with anybody, I didn't have to talk to anybody. It was awesome. It was perfect. The problem was, it's like you were part-time for a reason, and they weren't going to make you full-time, and so I wasn't making enough money, and so I stopped caring, and then I came in late too many times, and then they fired me. So yeah, big
Did you
surprise.
listen to like podcasts and stuff? Or
Yes,
was that during podcast times?
it was the very beginning of podcast.
Okay.
Honestly, maybe I wasn't listening to podcasts. I was probably listening to like music. It might have been like the iPod was maybe just coming out at this point, because it was 2001, 2002. When did the iPod come out? Like 2000?
Around
Early
2001,
2000s.
I believe.
Yeah, so I might not be able to afford one yet. Yeah, so but we definitely like would have music on or something like that
Maybe
on
if
the
you
shift.
Didn't show up late. You would've been able to-
I probably would have, yeah. Then my least favorite job was Formaggio's Pizza on Ohio State campus. I worked as the pizza delivery guy, so they pay me less than minimum wage because I was supposed to get tips, but there were very few deliveries. So there's a sign in the back of the store that the government makes you put up that says if you don't make this much money per hour as a tipped employee, the company has to make up the difference. And I kept track of that for a while, and I presented it to them, and then they fired me because I asked for the money that they owed me. So then I took that to the Department of Commerce at the Ohio government and said, hey, they won't pay me. And they're like, okay, well, we'll get back to you. And then they sent me a check for $2,000 like a few weeks later because they just did all the
there
work
you
for
go.
me.
Oh,
So
happy-ish ending.
happy ending, but those guys sucked. I watched them
Yeah.
fire a bunch of people for various reasons like that, where they like asked a question. They're like, and they never fired, like, oh, just go home today, and we'll call you and let you know. And then they would never call you back. So, yeah.
I realized ever since I was 14, I've like always had 2 jobs. I don't think I've ever been fired. I've had like a good amount of jobs, but I usually stayed with them pretty long. But yeah, I've never been laid off or fired.
Well, you were like you're kind of a go-getter, Dan, right? Like that's like with the movie job, like where you were like, I'm going to try to become assistant manager and stuff. Like
Yeah, and that's when I was
go-getting.
I started there when I was 14. When I was 14, I started there, and I was at McDonald's, and then I quit McDonald's. And when I turned 16, it was that was my favorite. Well, to answer the question, AMC and Funkoland at the same time. So that was from like 16 until college. I worked at I got free movies, free video games, all through that high school period where I didn't have a lot of money, but I was working 2 jobs, and they were across the parking lot from each other. It was, Olathe, Kansas. It's 119th and Strang Lane. I would like finish up a Saturday shift at Funkoland, which turned into GameStop while I was there, and then I would just like change in the bathroom, walk over to the AMC 30, and just work my night shift there. So that was awesome. I was just like constantly like hanging out in that parking lot, like playing games at work or going over and just watching a bunch of free movies, and we would see stuff beforehand. Like I was working there during the prequel trilogy and stuff, so we would see that before. Like I remember like seeing that the night before, and you'd walk out and you'd see the line like wrapped around the building and be like, oh, I know what happened. Like that was such a like cool feeling as a teenager. So that was probably my favorite pre-gaming industry one, is those 2. The worst was Garmin, the GPS company. It was like post-college. I was still writing, game reviews and stuff for the paper and everything, but I, was applying at IGN and Game Informer and GameSpot and everything, and didn't get jobs. So I was just like, fuck, I went to college for all this time. I put all my eggs into this like games review bucket, and it's not paying off. I mean, I'm still getting free games and stuff, but I'm not getting paid. And I'm just doing like GPS shit, like with like a bunch of people that like are just, basically in high school. And like, here I am 5 years of college, I'm like getting paid the same. And I'm like helping old people try to like acquire satellites on their, Garmin Nuvi devices and stuff. I'm like, man, I fucked up. I really fucked up. Like I really went hard on this games reviewing thing, and it did not pay off. Holy shit.
Oh,
and
I
remember when
had that moment for sure.
Yeah, and then that morning McNamara called me and was like, hey, do you want to move to Minnesota? I remember walking into Garmin to give my 2 weeks with I wasn't shitty about it, but in my head, I was shitty about it. I was just like, oh, I'm going to tell him I'm fucking leaving this shitty-ass job, and I'm going to go get paid to play video games, and that was about the best feeling in the world. So, yeah. But that was the worst job. It's just, call center tech support shit sucked.
Yeah, and that's the worst because you loved working for Vince. So, like at WWE, of course. Like,
I forgot that I
paid.
That's true. Okay, good point.
Yeah. I forgot I worked for a call center for 1 week.
I worked for a call center for a year. Yeah.
What do you mean you worked at a call center for 1 week?
Like,
stop
'cause I
going
quit
in.
after a week because turns out I'm not very well equipped to have people yell at me because I'm, forced to bother them constantly. So yeah, they don't like that.
I see.
The call center I worked for was a call support, so they would call in and ask for help, and they would yell at me still, but I was able to handle that because I'm just here to help you.
People.
If you don't want help, that's fine, but I'm here to help you.
The one I was at in college was calling the alumni of KU, University of Kansas,
to
get them to give money. I did that for like 4 years, I think. Like my whole social circle in college was all from the call center and stuff. And I got all my friends to work there and everything. And they'd put you on like, okay, tonight you're on the pool of the School for Social Welfare. So it's people that like graduated, spent a bunch of money, owe a bunch of money, and are not getting paid well. And you always had to start with the ask ladder. You had to start with, would you like to join the Dean's Club with a donation of $1,000, and you would just get laughed at.
Yeah.
And so but then you'd get put on like the School of Medicine one, and you'd see like, oh, every year since 1977 they've given $5,000. It's like, all right, easy night tonight.
Yeah.
So it totally depends on what pool
Have you seen
you're
the
on.
John Mulaney bit about that, where it's like, would you like to give us more money? Would you like to clothe and feed me and house me? It's like, no. Would you stop doing that? It's like you fell in love with your school. You fell in love with the sex worker or whatever. So yeah, it's a good bit. All right, no more
Sean
emails.
didn't go.
Oh yeah, Sean, that's right. Sean, well,
I knew he was moving off, so I was just like, I'm just gonna let him cook for a second here.
Listen, you're 14 years old. How many jobs have you had? Come on.
Well, I didn't work in school because when you're broke as shit, you need to work your ass off in school in order to just, get into college. So I've had just like a decade-ish of odd jobs up until, getting this gig. And easily, it's funny that you bring up like shipping and stuff, Jeff, because that was easily my least favorite job. Was I worked shipping and receiving at a car dealership, which when you can manage, and it's just you get a giant like bin of shit and they just scan it and you put it where it needs to go. That's totally cool. Problem is, I was doing the work of an entire team because they refused to hire anybody else. Because the owner. How does a millionaire become a millionaire? Not spending money on anything.
Yep.
And so, I was busting my butt for barely any money, but it was stable full-time work, so I kept doing it. And hey, that's how I learned how to drive a forklift, so got something out of it.
Yeah, the other shipping receiving one I did a couple, but the JCPenney warehouse, that one was rough because it was like putting away towels picking towels to put for orders for stores, and it was all towels all the time. And so I was like, and it was the towels were stored in cardboard. So this was probably the driest place on earth. And my whole body would come home chapped because there was just no moisture in the air. It was all getting absorbed by the towels and the cardboard and just rows and rows and rows of them. So it was miserable. I mean, that's the job I did where my friend was like, I gave you a hit of acid, but I'm going to take it unless you take it tonight before you go to work. I'm like, okay, here we go, I guess. So that was a good time.
I just realized, have I technically been fired if in college I accepted a job as the Biggs Barbecue Chicken, who dressed up in a chicken suit and stood on the side of Iowa Street in Lawrence, Kansas, and was supposed to dance for cars with a Biggs sign. But then I woke up my first day and I was hungover and it was like 102 degrees outside and I didn't show up and I never heard from them. So like, does that count as getting fired if I accepted the job?
To me, if you don't show up, that to me that sounds like quitting.
I think you quit.
Okay, I quit. Yeah, I quit as the Big Barbecue Chicken. Okay, cool.
Yeah, I think it's on that side of the thing.
All right.
Yeah, completely related to that. My favorite job was just working at Best Buy because, like, as far as like retail goes, that's a really chill environment in there. Like you go into a Best Buy and it's kind of just like everything's kind of relaxed. It actually is that way working there too.
What section were you in?
I started as a cashier and then I did like customer service stuff because have to deal with shittier people, but and also get paid more money. But it was cool. Like obviously working at a tech store, the break room was baller. Gigantic TV, all the consoles set up with like all the latest games because they're just we expense one, whatever, and that was really cool. So yeah,
for some reason they put me in digital imaging. Like I got hired and I was like, listen, it was cameras. It was like something like 3 megapixel literally Kodak cameras and stuff like that. And I was like right across from the media section I wanted to be in. So I would see the guys over there like giving people recommendations on video games and stuff, and just outright lying to customers, being like, the next Halo is going to be on PlayStation. Like it's not public. Don't tell anyone that. But the next Halo is going to be. I want to run over there and be like, no, that's like bad Jeff information. I didn't
my
love it. It
brother
was-
worked at Best Buy for a while, and I had a friend who did too. They seemed.
I didn't like it that much. I didn't last too long.
All right. I'm just getting the what we learned ready here. Just give me a second.
Oh boy.
Wow.
There we go. All right.
There it is.
What we learned today? I actually know they can't hear it. There, they can now. We learned that Bailey is the one who claps now. We learned that Jeff needs Jonathan. We also learned Mike dreams about Jeff Grubb and embarrassing him, of course. Ben Hansen and Mike Minotti are probably not serial killers. And of course, we learned Dan only finds pleasure in making strangers' kids cry.
Very important.
Very important. All right, there's that. Okay, what do we have happening on Giant Bomb this week? We will have more GB16 videos will be going up, so check those out. And we will return to fucking Daikatana, I guess.
Tomorrow!
Grandpa.
Grub Katana, I think.
Oh, God damn it.
Gotta decide which one.
They're like,
Yeah, what the hell are you gonna do without anyone here on Friday, Jeff?
Nintendo World Championships.
Nintendo,
I'll be here.
Yes. I'm gonna get Mike in there. I heard that there's some people on the staff who are interested in NES World Championships, so I might bring them on, Bailey included. So we'll see if we can get them on board. But
Tell you
if
what,
I have to play it by
your
myself,
friends
I'll
at-
play it.
We're friends on Switch, obviously, right?
Yes.
Like me and you. Okay, well, I will certainly be playing it tomorrow and while I'm traveling and stuff like that. So I'll try to make sure any of my times are uploaded.
Yes.
And so I will, in spirit, be competing with you on Friday.
Perfect.
I
Yes.
can bring my Switch with me. I could do it too.
Yeah, just start setting times, and we'll make it happen. And then while we're playing live, we'll probably I'll probably just show my gameplay, but maybe we can get mics in there and stuff, and we can do some fun competition stuff. It'll be good.
Speaking of travel, though, speaking of Milo being out here over the weekend, I'm going to Evo. Evo's this weekend, and so if anyone listening is going to be there, make sure to say hi and
Challenge him to a real fight.
Fight me, as Jan keeps saying. Like, look, maybe I'll bring my Steam Deck. Maybe I'll have a dock. Maybe you can fight me anytime, anywhere. Who knows? Maybe that can make for a nice feature. Maybe if you say hi, you could be part of a certain log of my travels that I might be working on after the trip. Who could say?
All right.
Who could say? But yeah, looking forward to that. And then I haven't had a chance to talk about this yet, but I just wanted to briefly mention the Metal Gear Scanlan project that went up and everything. I'm glad everyone seems to love that we did that we just put all of it up
great.
on the YouTube channel. So yeah, if anyone wants to go check that out, it's all available in its entirety, every single thing. I made sure to take the files as they were and then just merge them. There's been no editing, no recompression, no changes. It's just the videos as you remember them back in the day, just now on YouTube. And part of why we did that is because now you can share it with your friends. And I already saw a bunch of comments being like, this is one of the ways I'm going to get my friends into Giant Bomb. Because we know that it can be difficult to get people into that back catalog, especially, nowadays you show them, you want to show them Giant Bomb, you say, hey, here's the newest episode of the Bombcast, here's Blight Club. And that's very easy. But if you want them to see any of the older stuff, that's been kind of difficult. So now you can be like, here's the playlist for Metal Gear Scanlan. Go have fun with that on your own time.
And without specifics and without time frame, just know that I am a big fan of having that stuff, that old stuff, easily accessible. And I've been talking to Sean about it, and I would like to do more of that in the near future. So.
It's a good thing to do, especially when holidays happen, because it was like, oh yeah, July 4th. This is the most patriotic thing I could do today is watch Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah, where it makes sense, we have stuff we're cooking.
Yeah. Excellent. Great work, boys. Appreciate that. So yeah, Daika Grubba will happen, Blight Club, and then on Thursday you can expect voicemail dump truck. We will do that. I've got ways to make that happen. We'll get a crew in there for that. UPF, we will be the NES World Championships, and then we'll do a BCR. We'll do a BCR this week. I'll get some people in there as well and make it happen.
And maybe circle a week from Friday on your calendar, because I think it'd be a great time to do the Anime Mario Party. Let's look into that.
Sounds good.
Yes,
You heard it here
it's
first, everybody.
$60. Get his codes. Not all of us have fancy Steam accounts.
All right. How does Jan end this show?
Does he say bye or something? Does he have a
He tries to
catchphrase?
get.
Well,
he tries to get rid of the mouse.
He did what we learned
Get outta here.
here.
Oh,
and then he
yeah, but
plays the
I
music.
did it bad. So what it was?
Play
so,
the music, Jeff.
All right, let's get out of here. Bye, everybody.
I see you.
For everyone at Giant Bomb, for Dan Reichert, Mike Minotti, Sean McDowell, I'm Jeff Grubb. Thanks for listening. Till next time, have a good one. Take care of yourself, and goodbye.
Happy birthday, Chris, my brother. I don't know why I added that last part.